It is hard to beat the excitement of All-Ireland semi-final weekend, possibly especially when your county hasn't been in one in this code for 12 years. Let's get confirmation of the Dublin and Cork teams now with Martin.
Thank you very much, Joanne. Let's start with Cork. The Cork goalkeeper Patrick Collins produced some fine saves in the Munster Championship, but his puck-out strategy and variation of puck-outs will be a crucial factor this afternoon. There are 3 changes on the Cork team that started the Munster final against Limerick, and here's the first. Niall O'Leary is back at right corner back, and he reconnects with Owen Downey and Sean O'Donoghue in the full back line. The Cork captain Robert Downey returns after injury to centre back, while Kieran Joyce moves across to right half back with Mark Coleman at number 7. Cormac O'Brien is out injured. Tim O'Mahony and Darragh Fitzgibbon continue their successful centre-field partnership that started against Waterford in the Munster Championship. Shane Barrett leads the Cork attack, with Declan Dalton returning after injury to his immediate left. Dermot Healy, who started the Munster final, retains the number 10 jersey. And the Cork full forward line, as we know, has 3 potential match winners. Patrick Horgan, Alan Connolly and Brian Hayes between them have scored 7 goals and 59 points in 5 games. It's a strong Cork bench with Ger Mellerick and Tommy O'Connell named amongst the substitutes, which also includes Shane Kingston, Jack O'Connor, Robbie O'Flynn and Conor Lahan. No matter what happens today, Dublin goalkeeper Sean Brennan will forever be remembered for a save-of-the-year moment in the All-Ireland quarter-final against Limerick when he somehow got to Aaron Gillan's goal-bound shot. John Bellew, Paddy Smith and former Dublin footballer Conor McHugh has formed a very solid full-back line. The suspended Chris Cummey is a huge loss at centre-back, but Dublin have an excellent replacement in St Vincent's Conor Burke, who moves from midfield to fulfil that role. Paddy Doyle and Andy Dunphy are his wingmen. Conor Donoghue returns after a 2-match suspension and will wear the number 8 jersey and form the centre-field combination with Brian Hayes. Fergal Whiteley leads the Dublin attack with Rian McBride at number 10, while the Dublin manager Niall O'Callaghan has now opted for John Heatherton on the other wing. Sean Curry has been in great form at top of the right and clearly leads the scoring charge for his team. Ronan Hayes and Keane O'Sullivan are really good hurlers and will ask questions of the Cork full back line. And Dublin's 16-26 is strong, with Dara Power a real option on the half-forward line, but also available will be possibly Dublin's best forward in Donald Burke, Paddy Dinleavy and Donegal Dooling, who might also see some action. The match referee is Johnny Murphy from Limerick. Joanne.
Well, while Martin was very kindly informing us about the confirmation of the teams, Donald O'Cusack was causing issue with the Uachtaráin Cummalú Glasgow.
That's good. I hope he enjoys the game of hurling here today. Do you want to go more into the conversation, Joanne? We can go into detail if you want.
Sure, why not? Yeah. Or do you want to talk about the fact that no Shamie Harnedy today for Cork, but there is a Declan Dalton?
Yeah, look, Shamie Harnedy, massive player for Cork over the last couple of years. Played here back in that game against Anthony, and he is a loss to Cork, especially when he picks off those points. You can be so certain he's going to get a couple of points. But Declan Dalton back today is going to be very interesting for Cork. What Dalton does is he brings something different. He's very powerful. Anthony touched on the type of power he has with a shot when he's going for it. You can see him lining up frees here. The distance he can strike the ball is amazing, and I think that he adds a balance to Cork. When you look at the rest of the forwards, even on the other side, if you look at Dodds Healy's a different type of a player, but it'll be really interesting because the level is so high here, and it's back to that point. If Cork are off the mark here in any way and Dublin are on the mark, Cork will be in trouble. He's been out of action now for a couple of weeks, and it'll be interesting. You can do all the training you want, but it's really hard to replicate what you're going to face out here in the next 70 minutes.
And he's a lot to live up to following his All-Ireland semi-final performance last year as well.
Yeah, I think if you were looking for a replacement for Shamie Harnedy, it's about as good as you could get within the county. He has all the experience. You're not going with a young lad. It's a big day for Dermot Healy as well. We saw the impact he had. I thought, Pat minded him superbly all year, unleashed him in the Munster final, and he certainly loved the space out here. And I certainly wouldn't like to be a wing back on him today. And that forward line, the threats from everywhere, the pace, the directness. Henry said it earlier on. I love the style of play they've brought in. If they're to win in All-Ireland, I'll tip my hat to Pat Ryan and the style and the directness and the attacking play they've brought into it. I think they've been magnificent to watch.
Has Rob Downey won every single coin toss that we have watched? It feels like he has. We're not entirely sure. There isn't a massive wind here this afternoon, Henry. Does that even really make that much of a difference? And a reminder, it is very, very hot.
Yeah, I don't think it does, Joanne, to be honest. I think the biggest factor for me here would be, can Dublin stay in the game? Even though against Limerick they went down to 40 men, they were still in the game. And that's where I can see Conor Burke playing that kind of hybrid sweeper kind of midfield role, pushing on. But I think inside the Cork full forward line, we haven't spoken about, like Brian Hayes has been a magnificent player for Cork over the last couple of years. And Alan Connolly, who spoke to us after the Munster finals, took that penalty. Probably didn't play that well in the game, but still had the confidence to go up and take the penalty. I think he's a player who might thrive on Croke Park, and I'll be very interested to see what he brings today as well.
You are really interested in seeing what Connolly does.
I do. I don't think he's had a good season, Joanne. You know, following on from last year, I thought he was a handful for everybody he marked. And I just don't think it has flowed for him. But I wouldn't be surprised if today is the day, and I speculated on that yesterday, that this fella could still win an All-Star this year, because he's built for here, and he will go for green ones if he gets a chance. And Dublin have got to be so alert for that. No, who'd pick him up? It's interesting to know, will Paddy Smith, will he pick him up, you know, or will he go on Hayes? With John Bellew did quite well on Hoggy in last year's quarter-final, so it's fascinating to know who'll pick up who in defence.
And matchups still are really, really vital, aren't they, Donald?
They are. Like we saw in terms of the Limerick game there, the last day with McHugh, and the decision that Limerick made. Everybody has that conversation. Do you go hunt the likes of Lynch one-on-one, or what do you do in those situations? We saw the way he was able to compete when the ball was dead around the place. All those discussions will be had here today in terms of where's the biggest danger in the opposition, who do we think we can match up, and then the joy of it is the opposition team are saying exactly the same thing. They're saying, where can we get at the different defenders and so on. So I just hope, Joanne, I think Henry mentioned it there. He mentioned about hoping that Dublin will stay into it. I know we had a bit of a joke there about hurling and stuff like that, and I just hope for hurling's sake that Dublin are in this game all the ways. I have to say, we watched back the Limerick game a good few times over the last while, and Limerick were off. If Cork are here with everything they can bring today, I expect Cork to win, and by more than 2 or 3 points. It's mental for Dublin for me. It's mental for Dublin. If they're mentally nice and grounded again and taking the whole thing in their stride and concentrating on performance, they'll deliver. They're very good hurlers.
Do you agree that if both teams play to their absolute maximum, Henry, that Cork win, and by more than 2 or 3, as Donald Oak said?
I think so, yeah. It's absolutely, you know, I think Dublin have been building, and they have been the story of the championship and what they did in the quarter-final. But as well as that, Joanne, it's a Saturday evening, it's a full house in Croke Park. For these players, and Anthony know better than any of us, they absolutely love hurling because they had options with football. I'm sure a lot of these are good footballers. So this should bring out the best of them. And if they can bring out the best of them. But the same thing with Cork. Cork seem to be on a mission this year. Munster champions, league champions, and they want to get back to their 3rd final in 5 years.
Both of them come in the right mindset, Joanne. It's going to be fast and furious. Anthony Daly, I thought you learned the lesson a good few years ago about saying things off air. You know there's nothing off air dealing with this person here.
Is that Charlotte Burns or Joanne you're talking about?
I'm on about you.
You may notice, despite seeing that blue on the camera, there certainly looks to be a lot more red in Croke Park, in the heart of Dublin, of course. And we heard Damien say 7 extra trains coming up from Cork. Sounds like one of those may be the hype train once again. Most me live to Troch the fall Oswego le Papillary, August Gary McDonough, Sairview, an RT player, August an RT News Channel. Our commentary team here for semi-final #1 in the hurling championship. Brendan has made his way up to Marty.
Thank you very much, Joanne. It's approaching 5 o'clock on Saturday, July 5th, 2025, and what you're witnessing is a little bit of history. This is only the 20th championship clash between the 2 major cities in our Ireland, 2 huge counties in terms of population, GA involvement and impact on society. But in terms of hurling, the past favours Cork with 16 victories. Dublin only won twice, and there was 1 draw in the previous 19 clashes. Dublin's 2 victories was way back in 1920 and 1927. That's 98 years ago since Dublin beat Cork in the championship. If Dublin win this semi-final, it'll be of seismic proportions. The last time Dublin hurlers qualified for an All-Ireland final was in 1961. The world was different. That was the year John F. Kennedy was elected President of the United States of America. Prince Rainier and Princess Grace of Monaco visited Ireland. Hurricane Debbie made landfall at Achill Island, and Television, yes, RTE, started broadcasting for the very first time. Cork Airport was officially opened. The Edge, Larry Mullen of U2 were born, so too was Daniel O'Donnell and Barry McGuigan. And Dublin hurlers lost the All-Ireland final to Tipperary by 1 point, despite players of the highest quality, people like Jimmy Gray, Des Ferguson, Noel Drumgoon, Lara and Des Foley. perhaps today could be Dublin's day once again. Cork, however, have a desire and a passion that seems unquenchable right now. The people of Cork have decided with their feet and hearts that this team deserves their support, and over 60,000 Cork people, I believe, have found tickets to this magnificent arena. It's 20 years since they won the All-Ireland. Do you remember the 05 team? Sean O'Halpine, John Gardner, Joe Dean, Dermot O'Sullivan, The Rock, Brian Corcoran, Kieran Frankie Murphy, and of course the great Donald Cusack. And Cork arrive in Croke Park as Munster champions after that extra time and penalties for the first time deciding the provincial title. The Rebels were here last year when they beat Limerick to make the final against Clare. Will that experience stand to them? Brendan Cummins.
Yeah, they'll be hoping that it will, but Cork are down there in their huddle now, and Dublin as well. You can see him there, the nose of the hurley down from Ronan Hayes. We are not surrendering today. The whole place thinks we're not up till we're going to show those boys in red. We'll see in a few minutes, Marty, which one is going to be right.
And just for the moment, we're going to pause because Jerry Grogan is announcing it to the packed arena here. A very special mention of Phyllis Heatherton, president of Kieran GA Club, mother of Kieran Heatherton, former Dublin hurler and selector, and grandmother of Dublin player John Heatherton, who's just been announced in the team. We also think of brother Kevin Crowley, former founder of the Capuchin Day Centre in Dublin, who made an invaluable contribution to the people of Dublin as he dedicated his life to the service of others and tirelessly fought for homeless people around Ireland. John Heatherton, as you can see, a very proud young man representing his grandmother here, and we pass on our deepest sympathies to the Heathertons, and also to Kevin Crowley. There he is, brother Kevin Crowley, a wonderful man who gave his life indeed to the service of others, and particularly for homeless people in Ireland. And finally, we pay our respects to Oisin Hoy's family and friends. Oisin was a member of Clontarf GA Club. His father is Kevin Hoy, current vice chairman of Clontarf GA. Oisin was 29. He was travelling in Bolivia when he was tragically killed in a car accident. On behalf of everybody on the Saturday game, on behalf of everybody in RT Sport, we may pass on our deepest sympathies to all the people I've mentioned, to their friends and to indeed their colleagues at work. May they rest in peace. But we are thinking of Phyllis Heatherton, Oisin Hoy and brother Kevin Crowley.
When we sing our national anthem for our national games, we celebrate our heritage, our identity and the culture passed down to us. We have a duty to uphold this tradition and demonstrate its value through our actions, setting an example for our youth and communities by respecting the anthem until its conclusion. Anisha Corja, Aran Levian, Achasadoin, Egbanakiola Ardain, Fistio Ronan O'Reilly.
There is truly a wonderful atmosphere around Croke Park. The picture on your television screen says it all. It is packed. Tickets have been impossible to get. Cork have won the toss and they've decided to play from right to left. And that means that Johnny Murphy is about to throw in the ball. Referee of last year's All-Ireland hurling final between Cork and Clare. This is actually his first All-Ireland semi-final. And right now, Brendan Cummins, before the ball is thrown in, I know you're on the pitch, the wind, it's a swirling breeze.
It is, yes, a swirling breeze. It's more right to left, but straight away, Dublin have gone for match-ups. McHugh has gone out on Shane Barrett. On the far side of the pitch then, Donohoe has gone on to Dalton.
The real capital of Ireland takes on, as they say in Cork, the real capital down south. It's Dublin against Cork, and Dublin go into the attack. First shot at goal, swirls between the posts and over the bar. What a start. Great start indeed. It was Cian O'Sullivan.
Yeah, it was a great pass inside. Again, it's that simple pass that Cian O'Sullivan gets onto it. It's a great settler for Dublin now, first attack.
Patrick Collins from Ballinhassig taking the puck out. Dropping it down inside that area between the D and the 40-metre arc. Gathering it is Shane Barrett, looking around for a little bit of support. That's a great block down by Dublin. They've started well, I have to say. Can they continue it on? We're going to have to wait and see. Dublin chasing the ball. Keane O'Sullivan is back there on his own half back line, pulling it first time. The ball comes in just past the 65-metre line. Going down on the ball is Fergal Whiteley. Over towards left half back, Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman pulls the brakes, gives it back in turn for Kieran Joyce. That's Blarney and Castlemartyr combining. A little touch back. Gathering the ball is Sean Brennan from Cooler. Referee says no foul whatsoever. Sean Brennan has the time and the composure to look around and send it down in front of the Cusick stand. And it's Cork getting there first. The Robs putting in a little hurley there just to make sure that he was able to dispossess him with Sean Curry. 2 against 2 up front, knocking the ball back out, and Cork under a bit of pressure. Dublin putting the pressure on Cork at the moment, and so far the 1, 2, 3, 5 Cork hurlers are dealing with 3 Dublin players, and the numerical advantage swings the way down towards Cork. Little pull in the jersey. Referee says advantage. Referee has blown his whistle, in fact, and he's given the free. Declan Dalton hitting the shoulder after getting the ball, and it's a free on his own 45-metre line.
Yeah, and it all came from the scramble defence coming back. You can see Dalton turning inside there. He's just been tugged back. Not the worst free in the world to be given away. Gets your defence a chance to get set, but it's very impressive the way the Cork half back line got back there when Heatherton got the ball. They obviously know he's a threat.
Declan Dalton, mighty puck of the ball, dropping it in and dropping it over the bar. What a start for Cork. They mightn't have gotten the first score in this match. That's credit to Keane O'Sullivan, but a wonderful response by Declan Dalton.
Yeah, series free from Dalton. We know he has in the locker, but he faded in lovely right to left there. Judged the breeze to perfection and the distance.
Puck out from Sean Brennan, sending it down in front of the Hogan stand, knocking it down into the path of Declan Dalton, starting Brighton, sending it low, trying to get the Cork forwards with the possession. Quality ball, twisting, turning. It is Brian Hayes. Brian Hayes shooting and sending that between the posts and over the bar. He's coming into this All-Ireland semi-final having scored 3 goals and 8 points through the Munster Championship campaign, and that is a good settler.
It is for such a big man, Marty. He's got great hands. He just killed that ball with one hand off the hurley. Not much defence can do with those.
Sean Brennan under a little bit of pressure, dropping the ball down into the Cork. Oh, magnificent Rob Downey. Now that's captain playing his part. Over for Declan Dalton, good hands. Dalton shooting, he knows it's just gone to the left and wide. Difficult enough, I have to say, to gauge the breeze, I would imagine, Brendan.
Yeah, it is. The flags behind the Hill 16 are blowing from left to right as we look down, but when you throw the grass up in the air in the middle of the field, it's blown right to left. The Dalton just faded off. Dublin are away. Here
comes Conor Donoghue, dropping it down in around the 20-metre line, 13-metre line. Cork dealing with the high ball. There's a hefty shoulder, but Cork are well able for that, for the physicality. They put the ball into the Dublin half of the field. A race for possession. Dublin man going to get there first. He has to put the brakes before going over the sideline. John Bellew giving it back to his keeper from Coola, Sean Brennan. Sean has the time, and again he'd lob it into the Cork half of the field, dropping down between the 45 and 40-metre mark. Ball continues on. A race for possession. Referee has blown his whistle. It was holding by Cork. It was a free for Dublin.
Because Niall O'Leary down there had a hold of Sean Curry's jersey. Curry did well to get in around the back. You can see the left hand of O'Leary there. Had to give him that little tug. Inside forwards are so rapid on both teams, Marty, but straight away John Bellew, in fairness to him, for pace, he had Alan Connolly coming out, which is a big plus. First time Connolly, I suppose, in a while has had a defender that he can't catch up to going out for the ball.
Sean Curry really has been outstanding. There's our great camera angle. I always love that camera angle out there because it gives you a real perspective of what Sean Curry is facing. He scored 4 goals and 61 points on the journey to this All-Ireland semi-final. 39 were from frees. Here he comes to put Dublin back in front. Back level. In fact, it's 2 points all, I should say. Level for the second time.
Dublin aren't giving Cork the puck out either. They're all pushed up on him. They want to go man for man.
Puck out from Patrick Collins. Heading over towards Shane Barrett. Runs on. A race for possession. 2 Dublin players should get there first, but Shane Barrett is still in there. Nicely picked up. Good work by Dublin. Keane O'Sullivan comes away with it, playing a very deep role inside. Back far is Paddy Doyle. Then they launch the ball long, probably too long, and that goes into the Gavin end. Patrick Collins going to take the puck out quickly, but the referee wants to make sure, Johnny Murphy, that all players are fitting well, and they are. So, Patrick Collins looking around at various options. And again, because Dublin are pushing forward, he has to go long. Dropping it down into a lovely little flick on by Brian Hayes. Getting there was Dermot Healy. Back out first, Dara Fitzgibbon if you need him. Good hands first, Declan Doyle. Brilliant combination. Here's Hayes. Back in the net. Brilliant goal. Beautifully created. Superbly finished. And Brian Hayes gets his 4th goal of the Championship of 2025.
All set up from that flick down, Marty. When you have a second involvement 20 yards from goal like that, it's always going to be 1v1. Hayes played it down, got inside, flicked, lovely, absolutely brilliant finish, and he's given Paddy Smith the world of trouble. That's his 3rd touch of the game, 1 point, a goal, and a set up for another score.
Superbly created by Dublin. By Cork, I should say. Dublin go into the attack. Coming forward is Fergal Whiteley, and that is a good response by Dublin. But the stick work, Brendan, by the Cork lads there was a joy to watch.
It was really, really impressive. Hayes is on form here, but in fairness to the Dubs, they came back with a score there to show that they're not going to be any shrinking violence here either.
Patrick Collins took out his rather poor. Not quite controlled by Conor Burke, but Dublin have the slipper now. There were options available, but he goes for the score from out there, failed. Brilliant point. Fergal Whiteley with his 2nd point of the game.
Yeah, got a good score from Whiteley again. He drifted in. You can see it coming back in on the breeze there. But again, Dublin, this is a fantastic response. Showing great bravery, pushing up on the Cork puck out.
Huge response by Dublin. Ball is superbly put up by Patrick Collins to Shane Barrett. And the finish is on target. Great build-up by Cork. And it's Tim O'Mahony at the end of it all.
Yeah, he's there for the ball back out. 2 Dublin players around him there. You must track the runners, Martin, when you don't have the ball when you're playing against Cork. Dublin shut down for a second there, and Tim O'Mahony took full advantage.
But having conceded the goal, Brendan, you have to give credit to Dublin as well. Psychologically, they still seem to be very much intact.
Oh yeah, very much so. They're in the game. They just need to keep converting the chances they get.
Knocked down into the path of Tim O'Mahony and Dara Fitzgibbon. Manny nicely turned. Ball inside towards Patrick Horgan. Oh, beautifully picked up. He's causing problems. He's pulled down. That has to be a free for Cork. Andy Dunphy in a spot of bother with Patrick Horgan, and Johnny Murphy, the referee, just indicating to the 2 boys they need to keep matters cool and under control.
Yeah, Hoggy goes to the hand there, and if anybody needed probably a month off to clear the head, it's that man in your shot there, Horgan. First ball went in, bounced into the hand, turn, takes on Dunphy. Dunphy gets a yellow card here now, puts him in a fair sticky wicket, which he's going to. He's saying it's that 2nd offence. Very harsh 8.5 minutes into a game to get booked. He's on a knife edge now.
Captain of the Dublin under-20 team that won Leinster 5 years ago, but after almost 9 minutes of play to be on a yellow card would make Niall O'Callaghan and the Dublin management team very much aware and thinking of options. Patrick Horgan lifting and striking and putting that over the bar. Just watch this again, Brendan.
Yeah, it's just the pace of Horgan. You can see him there. He's kind of rapping his hurley around. It's just cuteness and clever. The young man down there is learning. He'll learn a lot here today off Horgan.
Long puck out from Sean Brennan. Batted down by Mark Coleman. Going for the return pass. The referee has spotted something off the ball and he's blowing his whistle. He's indicating that there's some pulling of the jersey.
Yeah, Paddy Smith, I think is the one he's calling there. He had a grip on Hayes. He's under real pressure. The Cork inside forwards, Marty. The 3 are staying inside the 21. This is just a shot of the Downey catch, I would think, when the ball, or Coleman breaking the ball down. And Cork, you see, Dalton is coming back really well. The Cork half forward line are on every break, so the Dublin half back line are going to need to follow him. Not the easiest thing in the world to do, but it'll help their full back line, because at the moment they're 3v3 inside, and Cork are staying inside the 14, giving loads of space.
Patrick Horgan scored 3 goals and 42 points, 128 from a free. There's that camera angle to indicate what Patrick Horgan is facing. That's over the bar as well. So Cork now have a 4-point advantage. Cork won 5, Dublin 4 points after 10.5 minutes of play. Sean Brennan looking around at options. Decides to go long again as Cork full forward line pushes forward. First to the ball, traditional but effective. It's a key element. Tim O'Mahony goes for a diagonal ball. Look at that little flick of the hurley again. This time it doesn't quite come off, and Dublin are back there helping out their defence. One of them is Fergal Whiteley, going long up towards Sean Curry, staying with them. Advantage, says the referee. No advantage. Green had his arm up. Back fires Diarmuid Healy. He's helping out his defence. Over fires Mark Coleman. Cork worked the ball out from their half-back line. Kieran Joyce going long, sending it deep into Dublin territory. Beautifully caught by Brian Hayes. Here he goes, the bars man. And Cork have options here. Alan Connolly, brilliant goal. The Cork from forward line are tearing apart the Dublin back three. And it's paying dividends, staying in, as Brendan Cummins described a moment ago. The long ball to Brian Hayes. He is a creator, not just a finisher. This time he was creating the opportunity, and Alan Connolly rattled the back of the Dublin net.
Yeah, and it's all coming from the supply in, Marty. You're seeing the net result of it. But the Dublin half-back line are not following back Dalton and the Cork half-forwards. The Cork half-back line are breaking the ball down. They're getting clear possession and banging it into the scorers inside.
Long puck out again. This time Owen Downey goes up for it, doesn't quite gather it. Battle just inside the Cork 45-metre line, trying to hand pass the ball away. Succeeds. Tim O'Mahony from Newtown Chandrum uses the hand pass again for Diarmuid Healy, loses the possession. Dublin come away with it. It's 1 against 1 now. Dublin's trying to put the pressure on. Nice ball inside. Here comes the shot. Oh, brilliant defending. It was an opportunity for Cian O'Sullivan, but the referee has blown his whistle and given a free in to Dublin.
Sean O'Donoghue was the man, I think, who got back there. Did really, really well. You see the pass inside. Here he coming there. Look at the flick across there. Kieran Joyce as well was coming back. Oh, it was definitely Donoghue was the one who got the flick. But the difference is on the Dublin puck out, Marty, they had bodies under the break. They were able to win the row and get the ball inside to the 1v1. For the last 6 or 7 minutes, they haven't been able to do that, so Cork got to put the pressure in front of the Dublin goals.
Sean Curry going to take this. As you can see, just inside the D, slightly to the left of the post. Should be a simple enough tap over point for him, and it is. His second of the match. And Dublin really needed that, considering they've now conceded 2 goals. Brian Hayes was the creator this time, feeding Alan Connolly. Alan Connolly looked to the goalpost and an absolute rasper into the back of the Dublin net, and away come Cork again. Tim O'Mahony coming in along the blind side. O'Mahony's got inside, getting it across. A little flick on, and it's another goal. Brilliant play. Tim O'Mahony scoring his 2nd goal of the championship. He scored against Tipperary as well. Beautifully created as the ball came in.
Oh, sounds good.
Lovely, lovely finish here. Tim O'Mahony came in, he flicking it across, and it was Alan Connolly that got the flick in, actually. And it was Alan Connolly's 2nd goal of the match.
Yeah, Dublin makes substitution here, Marty. It's a great goal from Connolly. But Brian Hayes got caught rotten on the puck out. He never tracked Tim O'Mahony out over the Cusack stand side of the pitch, Marty. And when he did, it just opened up the overlap. Mahoney and Ferguson cut inside, held unbelievable composure. Unfortunately for Andrew Dunphy, his day is over. He's on a yellow card. The inside backs, the Dublin are getting absolutely skinned because they can't win the ball around the middle. So in fairness to him, he had to come off when he's on a yellow.
It's not the start of the scoreline Dublin wanted after 14.5 minutes. Robert Downey laying it over for his Dara Fitzgibbon, going long, heading towards Brian Hayes. Chasing is Paddy Smith. He leaves it to Patrick Horgan. This time Dublin win the exchange 50-50. Fair enough and good defending on this occasion. Into the centre, Dublin looking around for options, dropping it in around the house, trying to get a touch as Cian O'Sullivan knocks it down. Once again, it's Sean Curry, twisting, turning, lovely ball. Here comes the shot. Oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Cian O'Sullivan with the finish, and Dublin are back in the game. We were expecting goals. We have a festival of goals already, and we've only had 15 minutes.
Well, when you've nobody sitting back, Marty, this is what's going to happen, a goal fest. Again, it's an unbelievable finish from Cian O'Sullivan. Great composure. Look at him here. Gives the goalkeeper the eye, puts it in the near side of Patrick Collins. Nothing he could do about it. But the delivery goes into the full forward lines here, Marty. They're on fire.
We were expecting goals, but hardly 4 goals in the opening 15 minutes. But that is exactly what has happened. Dublin under pressure. Conor McHugh, Johnny Murphy allowing him to get the ball away. And Dublin will surely be boosted now as a result of that goal. Nice ball inside. They're coming forward. Running at speed is the other Brian Hayes. Brian Hayes of Dublin between the 45 and 65 metre line. And that's straight between the posts and over the bar.
Yeah, well done, Brian Hayes. He cut down through the middle there really well. Great composure to float the ball in over the bar. It's a great response from Dublin now, 1-1.
3-5 for Cork, 1-6 for Dublin. Puck out comes down for as Jim O'Mahony. Referee has his arm outstretched saying advantage. He allows Darragh Fitzgibbon to take the shot, and that is over the crossbar and between the posts, and a good score for the Charleville man.
So you've seen Darragh Fitzgibbon doing that in moments of pressure. Dublin, in fairness, have a puck out away now.
Good puck out from Sean Brennan to Ronan Hayes. Being pursued by Owen Downey. Trying to lay it back for Fergal Whiteley. Dublin retain the possession. Good work by Rian McBride. McBride says lead us, slipping and sliding in the middle of the field. Coming back out. Good work by Shane Barrett. Shane Barrett survives the initial challenge from Conor Donoghue. Uses the two hands on the hurley, sends it diagonally, but that should be a Dublin ball. And it probably won't have the pace to go over the end line. Dublin have it. Looking around, Sean Brennan calls for it, gathers it. Coola goalkeeper. All-Ireland club medalist now once for twice in 2017 and 2018. Knocked away on this occasion by Sean O'Donoghue. Cork going for the score from way out the field, just outside his own 65 metre line. That is a brilliant score by Declan Dalton.
No better man from 100 yards, Marty, to put the ball over the bar. Just pings the wrist through the ball. He's an unbelievable long-range striker.
Cork 3-7, Dublin 1-6. 17 minutes gone in this opening half. Puck out from Sean Brennan, dropping down, trying to get the ball away, breaking ball. But, Cork masterful in the half-back line. Nice ball into the pack for Patrick Horgan and to run on to, laying it off quickly. Here comes that man again, Shane Barrett. Great speed. He's going to have a shot. Dublin under pressure. John Bellew coming across to eliminate the danger. And Dublin work the ball out using the hand pass to quite great effectiveness. Looking around, trying to gather the ball, trying to go long into the middle of the field. Cork with Mark Coleman. Sending it down the middle. Alan Connolly has already scored 2 goals, trying to twist and turn, getting away from his marker, and that's going to raise a white flag at the Hill 16 end.
Yeah, well done, Declan Dalton. You'll see Connolly hitting the ball over the bar here, but Dalton was the man who got the block on the Dublin defender who was about to strike the ball inside to the danger area. He got the little hook, Downey got on it. We've been a feature here, Marty, as well in the first 18 minutes. Outside of Rob Downey, all the defenders in Cork are just breaking the ball out. They're not trying to catch primary possession because they know the cavalry's coming to support him on the mop-up.
Niall O'Callaghan speaking with his management team, but for Alan Connolly, it's been a very exciting opening half with 2 cracking goals. Nephew of Tom and Jim Cashman, All-Ireland medalists back in 2020 at the under-20 level. This was a wonderful score for Dublin. Sean Curry was the creator. He heard the call from Cian O'Sullivan and he rattled the back of the net. Very good response by Dublin.
You going off there as well, Marty, is going to be a big loss to that inside back line as well. The pace that he has, hopefully be able to return soon.
That would mean the entire left wing of the Dublin defence will be gone if Conor can't continue on. Lovely little flick up on this occasion by Ronan Hayes, making ground. Immediately to his right is Rian McBride. Still Hayes. Hits it inside for Fergal Whiteley. Takes the shot. Oh, off the crossbar. They did everything right, Dublin, except were very unlucky. They hit the black spot at the Davin end goalpost. It was unstoppable. Patrick Collins was diving. Now at the other end is Brian Hayes. Has the pace on the 20 and the 13. Alan Connolly, can he get a touch? Sean Brennan gets it away, but Dublin will relieve the pressure with Conor Burke, the St. Vincent's man. Gives it the call, here's the call to Brian Hayes. Gives it back to Conor Burke, the St. Vincent's boys, combining nicely. Outside the Cork 65 metre line, it's looking good, it's very good. And every little point now at this stage is a major boost to Dublin, having conceded 3 goals in the opening 14 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising the team is hitting it over the bar, Marty. It seems like a game of goals only. Here's the opportunity. Shot flew in over the head of Patrick Collins. You see it here in the slow-mo. Watch him. It just hits just off the underside of the bar, and we're off again here now.
He's already scored 2 points, Fergal Whiteley. Dara Power is on for Conor McHugh. Nicely intercepted. I read the anticipated pass from Darragh Fitzgibbon rather well. Dublin now coming out from their own half-back line, looking around to see who's available. Here's Dara Powers come on for Conor McHugh, stopped in his tracks by Tim O'Mahony. Cork win the possession back. First to the ball is Kieran Joyce in front of the Hogan, dropping this in. Dangerous ball, very dangerous, particularly when Patrick Horgan is hovering. A right battle. Good work on this occasion by David Lucy, and the referee has blown the whistle and has given a free in to Cork. And Hill 16 don't like the decision, but Johnny Murphy has given the free for holding on Patrick Horgan.
Yeah, I think the Hill 16 end and the Dubs are right there. Patrick Horgan had a hold of Lucy's hurley there. It's just that bit of cuteness. When you leave your hurley in there, he's going to grab it, he's going to kind of back into you a small bit, and won the free really, really well.
Patrick Horgan has already scored 2 points in this All-Ireland semi-final. Lifting and striking, putting that easily over the crossbar and between the posts. It's Cork now 3-9, Dublin 1 goal and 7.
But even though there's 8 points in it, Marty, there's still goal opportunities. You can see that Dublin are creating chances all around the place. Johnny Murphy's going in there for a chat. I'd say it's over to the water carrier on the far side, giving in information. You're not allowed into the field of play. It'll probably be a yellow card or a warning. Dotsy
is being warned and shown a yellow card. Johnny Murphy, the referee, issuing the yellow. Dotsy, a great hurler in his own playing days.
He could have went in there himself and took the hurley off on the lads in there and had a go. No better man, I'll tell you. But here we go again now. Really important puck out for Sean Brennan and his colleagues.
Dropping down on the Cork 45-metre line. Getting the final touch, Kieran Joyce. Sideline cut for Dublin. Sideline ball, cut in. John Heatherton chasing after it. Runs on far as Keane O'Sullivan. He flicks it over his right-hand shoulder and scores his 2nd point of the game. There is no doubt there are scoring opportunities for Dublin in that full forward line if they can get the ball in there enough times.
That's the key, and I don't know why they play it around their own 65. Just hit it into Heatherton, and O'Sullivan will get on the crumbs like he did there. Heatherton really well to hold off the man, let the ball through.
Long puck out from Patrick Collins, but signals got a little bit mixed up there. Dublin have not just this man with the possession, but indeed they had options available. Paddy Smith had still options and he overplayed it completely. Darragh Fitzgibbon, great block down by Rian McBride. Getting it back, McBride goes up in the air. Another one of the St. Vincent's boys, as it turns out. Dublin head towards the Hogan stand, towards the sideline, looking around to see who's available. Didn't connect at all. On this occasion, Brian Hayes, that's a sideline ball for Cork.
Yeah, it appears to Brian Hayes there. He's doing some lot of learning down there. The young man, he's really game. He wants to get on the ball all the time. He just kind of, when he went to hit it there, you can see him, he kind of posed for that second to try to get the ball in right. It's the hurley of, I'd say it was Barrett in around the back end there, or Decky Dalton, one or two of the yellow helmets got him.
It was enough to put Brian Hayes off. And the sideline cut can be taken by Mark Coleman. Keeping it down the wing towards Declan Dalton, runs on. Brian Hayes, Dalton is available. Hayes had the vision and Dalton sends that just to the right and wide. But it's the second wide of the match from a Cork perspective, but you can see the understanding that's there between the Cork forwards. Sean Brennan goes long, very long, dropping it in around the house. Ball breaks, should be Cork's ball again. Great pressure by Dublin, they're pursuing everything. John Heatherton is the 21. Ball comes loose and available. Patrick Collins goes right, being a little bit held back. Referee has his arm outstretched. Advantage, has his arm down now as the ball came out towards Tim O'Mahony. Again, it's the diagonal ball coming out together with beautiful stick work by Alan Connolly, laying it off. Coming over first, Declan Dalton and then Shane Barrett. This ball is, the Cork player was falling as off the stick of Shane Barrett. That ball is wide. Remains 3-9 to 1-8. 25 minutes now on the clock. Going short this time for us, John Bellew. From Lucan Sarsfield's Conor Burke looking around at options, gives it back to Bellew. Bellew goes long. The long ball seems to be paying dividends for Dublin. Ball breaks inside. Patrick Collins has to come off his goal line. Flicks it forward, but wasn't quite expecting it. Bats it. He'll do very well in Wimbledon. Patrick Collins with that sort of an effort. Gets it over towards Brian Hayes. Oh, look at the stick work again. big, tall man, but he's beautiful stick work, beautiful wrist work. In comes Patrick Horgan. Dublin under a little bit of pressure. Dublin have the situation under control. Paddy Smith from Clontarf arrives, gets it away. Diagonal ball over this side of the field is over towards Conor Donoghue from Erin's Island Finglas. So many clubs represented on this Dublin team. He's on his own 65-metre line, but he sends it to the right, left and wide, and second wide of the match for Dublin. And I can see the Dublin forwards, led by Cian O'Sullivan and Ronan Hayes, saying drop it in. Meanwhile, the puck out is taken. Far as Diarmuid Healy, sending it up towards Patrick Horgan and company. Nice little stick work again, getting it into the hand. Hoggy looking around, half blocks on this occasion. Dublin have the situation under control at last. Maybe perhaps the changes are working for Dublin. Nicely picked up by Paddy Smith, tackled, and that's going to be a free for Dublin just inside the 145-metre line. They take it quickly. Over for his Conor Burke. They're using the quick hands for his Dara Power from Fingalians as Dublin go forward again between the 45 and 65. That's looking good to me, and it is good. White flag raised. Good score by the centre half back Conor Burke, his second point of the game.
Yeah, we know Conor Burke's skill set is really good on those. Heatherton inside on the edge of the square, he's waving the horn. This is the block down on Horgan. It's unbelievable skill. Patrick Horgan should have recycled that. The shot wasn't really on there, but still the Dublin defence closed him down.
David Lucy deserves the credit. Nephew, of course, a former Limerick hurler and footballer, Stephen Lucy. And then away come Dublin. So there is some Limerick blood on the pitch here in Croke Park. Good work by Sean Curry. Nice ball inside. Cork are there in numbers. Fergal Whiteley was surely tripped by Darragh Fitzgibbon, and that's going to be a free in for Dublin.
Yeah, tangle of legs is what Johnny Murphy signalled it as here. Fitzgibbon is going back trying, but his left leg kicked off his right side of Whiteley there. I don't think there was anything deliberate in it. But at the same time, again, Dublin slowly but surely are just eating their way back into this Cork lead.
Sean Curry going to take it just outside the 40-metre arc. Himself and his brother Colin, who's a substitute, played cricket for Ireland at underage. It might be his dad's influence, who's from New Zealand, and his mother's from Glasnevin. 2 goals between the teams. Hill 16 comes alive, not supporting the Dublin football team but the hurling team, but giving it everything as Sean Curry lifts and strikes and put that over the bar for his 3rd point of the match. They're still in this match. It's 3-9 to 110.
Yeah, and only one miss-hit shot in from Heatherton, getting ball down top of his head in the edge of the square.
Great puck out by Patrick Collins to Declan Dalton. He's playing well at left half forward, switching from left to right half forward, and then on the turn sends that over the bar for his 3rd point of the match.
Quality, see Decky Dalton there, the left hand up in there, wasn't hardly looking at it, but then he spun it over the bar off the back foot.
Short puck out, putting Dublin under a little bit of pressure. Here's Paddy Doyle looking around. There's nobody immediately available. He'll have to go long, put the ball down the middle. Good hands, great hands, Sean Curry, despite the best effort of Niall O'Leary, and that's great defending by O'Leary. Dublin have the ball back momentarily, trying to get through the Cork defence. He had options outside, should have gone, should have looked, and Cork come away with it, but then they mess up and send the ball straight out over the sideline. Sideline ball for Dublin.
Yeah, it's an opportunity again there. It just takes a second. It's not easy down the right of Marty just to turn around. We can see it all up here, but a little bit of composure in front of goal. Don't throw it up and get blocked, because Dublin have committed players forward. They're being very brave, but when they're turned over down there, there's guys loose around the middle.
Short sideline ball from Conor Burke. He's gone in there to try and dig it out. Good work by Dara Power. Now Conor Burke has it. Has to fling it up into the air and play a hopeful ball. Lovely stick work, lovely grasp of the sliotar by Cian O'Sullivan, and that flies between the posts and over the bar. I've said this from the beginning. The Dublin full forward line, like the Cork full forward line, are asking serious questions of their markers, and the long ball strategy should be employed more by Dublin. Puck out this time. Comes down for Mark Coleman. Again, they pump it into the space, trying to open up this Dublin defence. Laying it back. Patrick Horgan, front of the Hogan. Is it on target? Oh my word, yes it is. Beautiful score. His 4th point of the game, but it's a class piece of hurling.
Oh, it is, yeah. Just we see it so much in Patrick Horgan, but Dublin are away again on the puck out.
Going long again. Going for the score, but it's tailing, and it's tailing to the left and wide.
Conor Burke there, he need to put the ball inside, shoot inside the Cork 65, no problem at all, but shooting just outside your own 65, especially with Heatherton inside on the edge of the square, just get him one ball, see how he'll get on with Downey inside there.
The run is made by Tim O'Mahony in a bit of space. Dublin only copped on at the last second. Shane Barrett taking on his marker, looking at the goalpost, but sending that wide. For Cork's 4th wide of the match. Again, Sean Brennan very quick took out. Good hands, I have to say. He just somehow managed to keep it in. Picked up by Darragh Fitzgibbon. Full credit to Ronan Hayes. That looked like a dead ball to me, but he did really well. Robert Downey. Pass over to Sean O'Donoghue. Had hospital written all over it, but he got away with it. Long ball into the Cork full forward line again. Lovely wrist by Patrick Horgan. It's that man again. He's going for the hat-trick, giving it back. Brian Hayes. Here comes the shot. Brilliant goal. The Cork inside line of Patrick Horgan, Alan Connolly and Brian Hayes are absolutely lethal. Their 4th goal in the first half of this All-Ireland semi-final against Dublin, and every one of them is different, but every one of them is laced with class.
Yeah, the first-class part was Patrick Horgan anchoring the ball. You see the finish here from Hayes. It's really, really composed, but the very minute Connolly got it, he drew in the 2 defenders, had the skill set to flick it over his head across to Hayes, and Hayes just walked it into the net.
Cork 4-11, Dublin 1-11. Cork just have that goal-scoring touch, as we saw all the way through the Munster Championship. They have the forwards, but Dublin not giving up. But it is a blow to concede another goal coming up to the half-time whistle. Crossfield ball, more hope than anything else. Easily gathered by Declan Dalton. Beautiful, beautiful balance. Far as Tim O'Mahony. Brilliant combination with Shane Barrett. Throws his arms up around his head. He knows that he mishit it. Ball is wide.
Yeah, structurally Dublin have been poor now in the last 4 or 5 minutes, Marty. They've only 1 inside. They've 2 in there now. They have to keep a goal threat close to the Cork goal. At least 2 in there.
Brian Hayes to Sean Curry, but he touched the ball on the ground. A little bit unlucky, but he did. Free to Cork.
That's the pressure that Cork will put on you around there. They won't leave you stand up and just do what you like and give you time on the ball. They're all the time pushing. Big free now for Hoggy out here after a great score from the sideline. He's got a good sighter of the breeze.
36 years of age since the 5th of May. Still playing at the highest level. Made his debut against Tipperary back in 2008.
Yeah, kind of remember him all right back in the day. Really, really good. It's himself and TJ Reid tomorrow. Like, I mean, I'm still saying that guys that I would have played against that are still playing. There's some men down there, but let's see how he goes here now. It's an important free for his confidence.
He's already scored 4 times. And that's the way it will remain for the moment at least. With just about a minute and a half to go to the break. 2 minutes of added time going to be announced along the sideline by the 4th official. Breaking ball, kick back, easily gathered, sent into space for Shane Barrett to run after. Back there is Brian Hayes trying to gather it. Good work by Dublin's Brian Hayes. Nice sickle, but just takes too much out of it. Alan Connolly from in front of the Cusack stand sends that across the face of the goal and wide. David Lucy. Just the ball handling, just a bit jittery, isn't it, Brendan, by Dublin?
Yeah, it is. It's not as assured, and the kind of game has died down a small bit again now. Dublin need to get another goal opportunity up here if they can. But they've only 1 inside. You can see the top of the shot there. They need to keep 2 in there.
Mark Coleman sending back over towards Patrick Horgan, picked up by Dermot Healy. It's a good crossfield ball again, over towards Alan Connolly. He's already scored twice in the first half in terms of goals, and now he's scored 2 goals and 2 points. The Blackrock man is really causing headaches for Dublin.
He is. The supply ball in is really good to him as well. And in fairness to the Dublin defence, all they can do is shadow him there and hope he just hits it over the bar, because if you jump in, he'll slip you and get a goal.
Sean Brennan, this time opts for the long ball. aiming for Ronan Hayes, gathered by Mark Coleman. Steps away from the possibility of a hook by Hayes, sends it down towards Patrick Horgan. Paddy Smith laying it off over towards Sean Curry. He's playing very, very deep, and he really should be down at the other end.
Because he's nowhere to go now. If you watch him here now, he'll have to have a shot.
Sean Curry just inside the Cork 65-metre line, has a go, but the ball is to the right and wide.
Yeah, not to be boring people too much now here with this, Marty, but you can't play with one inside. You have to have two or three. Cork have three inside up the other end. They're causing chaos. You look up the Dublin half of the pitch, they've only one in there. Heatherton on the edge of the square, and fair's the man, he's not the fastest man in the world, so he needs backup. He needs O'Sullivan up there with him.
Long puck out again from Patrick Collins. Picked up swiftly. Darragh Fitzgibbon sending that just over the crossbar for his second point of the game. Cork in control coming up to the half-time.
Yeah, it's great skill for any young players watching there. Fitzgibbon just rolled the wrist, only pulled the hurley back about a half a foot and flicked it over the bar.
An impressive statistic of the first half. Out of 4-13, 4-9 is coming from play from the Cork side, and that is intimidating.
Yeah, Heatherton came out and said, I've enough of this standing side. With no ball coming in, I'll come out and do it myself. It's a great catch there, and again support runners off the shoulder through the free.
Just to add to the stats information for you, 4 goals and 7 points have been scored by that inside line. 2-1 by Alan Connolly, 2-1 by Brian Hayes.
Yeah, you can see it from up here, Marty. It's the way Cork are going to play. We said it before the game, but the Dublin inside forwards are just as dangerous, but they've only one in there, so it doesn't have obviously the same impact.
Sean Curry, I'm sure will be happy just to tap this over the bar for his 4th point of the game and bring Dublin just a little bit closer. $11 points between them at the moment. This will reduce it down to 10. Over 2 minutes have been played. Referee Johnny Murphy looks for the slither. And while Dublin have shown tremendous character, you have to admire the skill, the wonderful hurling that's been produced by Cork. Alan Connolly with 2 goals in the 11th and the 13th minute, created the second one by Tim O'Mahony. Add on Brian Hayes' goals in the 6th and the 31st minute. Wonderful goal by Cian O'Sullivan for Dublin in the 15th minute, gave them a little bit hope. But certainly Niall O'Callaghan and his management team have a lot to think about. Twice they've been level in the first half. But in Croke Park, in the first of our All-Ireland semi-finals, Cork, the Munster champions, in control with a pretty impressive scoreline. Cork, 4 goals, 13 points. Dublin, 1 goal and 12.
For more great shows, go to the RTE Player app on Sky.
While most of us were enjoying the fair, Anthony Daly was having palpitations on behalf of defensive coaches everywhere, especially when we saw 4 goals scored inside 8 minutes and 47 seconds. And of course, there was a 5th one added right at the end as well. I don't think Dublin would have been too happy watching it either. They are trailing at half-time to a very, very dominant Cork, 4-13 to 1-12. And as some of the key stats come up, Anthony, what have we just witnessed?
Yeah, Jen, fantastic to watch. Fantastic entertainment, the skills on show, incredible. And our seat where we're watching it, it's fantastic to watch. But if you're a Dublin fan, you're probably saying it's a bit too open. Can you take on this team in a shootout? And I think maybe the Conor McHugh, now him going off is massive for me, but I think they needed him in the full back line. And Connolly and Hayes, and as the boys are going to show in a minute, and Hoggy have made hay, and they haven't got a handle on Declan Dalton. So I think McHugh, he's gone off. and they needed him inside to mind the house, and I think he's been a huge loss. But some of the attack and play on both sides, just incredible to watch.
Yeah, well, it's so hard to narrow everything down, so we're just going to have to go goal central for a little while, much like that first half. Brian Hayes must be a contender now for Hurler of the Year already.
Yeah, no, he's very much up in there. I couldn't get over, as Anthony's touched on, the skill of the game, to be fair. And you just watch the flick he got here. It broke onto Dudsey in the wing and said, well, I just really like here, he's just number 15. And the minute Declan Galton he was on, and Paddy Smith was just caught. And even here, he's going to be hooked. But no, brilliant risks again, just taking it. But it was the first touch, because he knew what he was doing. I could see his coach talking to him earlier on about that. And again, the risk there. For a big man, he's been very, very impressive. I'm not quite sure with Anthony. Brilliant game. Munster final with so much physicality. People said it wasn't a great game either. This is too open for my liking. I'm sure some of the defenders would like it. But again, brilliant one-handed flick by Connolly across Brian Hayes. And I just love the brilliance of Cork here at the moment. This is it. Look, this is the full forward line. The three of them involved.
Are you not loving watching this, like?
Well, I am, but like, where's the... Sorry, I will say for Brian Hayes there, I think it was the composure even when he got the ball. He took his 4 steps. He didn't rush. And he struck it nicely and under. But Anthony, no, to be honest, I'm loving watching it. It's great.
Yeah.
But
sure,
like,
I'm agreeing.
Yeah, but I just think if you were here, really, the atmosphere, it's more oohs and ahs than oh my God kind of job.
Yeah, there's two of the defence gone off, Joanne. You know, and you think about Clare going man to man with them last year, and you have everybody from Clare, their very best 6 backs. It's hard to go man to man for them when they're one-on-one. They're so quick. There's such cohesion between them.
Anthony suggested beforehand that Alan Connolly was probably due a big game and that he'd probably produce a couple of big ones in Croke Park and end up with an All-Star. Yeah,
every ball that's going in, Joanne, there's danger. And what I like here was the composure. Ball works all its way across to Joyce. Joyce looks up. He doesn't just sink it in anywhere. He thinks about where he's got the space. Back to what the boys are talking about. When you're deciding to go 1-for-1, I wouldn't like to be involved in that full back line there. I wouldn't be like to be a goalkeeper. There's so much space there, but not to take from Cork's movement that they all have. Every forward moving, brilliant composure from Hayes, and a good finish from a tight angle. Here we see again the amount of one-handed play, like Hoggy's ball. You'd have to love it. I thought it was beautiful watching some of both teams' performance in the first half. But on about one hand flick, like the ball that came in before that from Hoggy flicked it with one hand, then the next one was one hand again. It's just brilliant to see. But back to the point, so we must appreciate all of the skill that we're seeing, appreciate the ball that's been given in. But it's definitely a decision of Dublin from a defensive point of view. It'd be a very challenging place to be in goals or in that full back line playing against that. We did momentarily think perhaps they were on the way back when Cian O'Sullivan, he's a great man for popping up when they need a goal. Yeah, I think he has scored 1-3, Joanne. And like, it's been a bit frustrating, some of the long range stuff. This is a better ball from Conor Burke. He has nailed a couple of brilliant ones, but this is given a chance to break it down. And Sean Curry does brilliantly here. I mean, Niall O'Leary's really tight, lifts the head. But I mean, as finishes go, this is up there with any of the Cork finishes, because in fairness to Patrick Collins, he knows he's going for a goal. He has the angles covered fairly well, but he's at 3 inches inside the post. And he, to me, him and Fergal Whiteley and Curry really look to tread. Hedgehoe, there's been too many people around Hedgehoe when it has gone in, if that's fair to say. Sean O'Donoghue has been around, you know, he hasn't got the one-to-one. Credit to Owen Downey as well, though, has done well. Okay, well, Dublin need an absolutely monumental second half. They are trailing by 10 at the break.
For more great shows, go to the RTE Player app on Sky.
It's those old foes all the way tomorrow. We have live coverage of Tipperary against Kilkenny twice in the Camogie first of all, and then of course in the hurling semi-final from 1:15, and everything wrapped up on tomorrow night's Sunday game from 10:15. We first of all have to go through the second half of this semi-final. We are looking forward to it. Possibly Dublin fans are not so much. Why is there so much space? You've all talked about the space that Cork are taking advantage of there. Why is that there?
Well, in addition, when you do decide to say that you're going to push on with everyone, you're going to leave space, the last thing you want is to be getting turned over big time in the middle of the field. And even if you look at the numbers, like Dublin have lost 11 balls in the middle of the field versus Cork, so then that adds to the stress that's existing inside the full back line. Like, that's a lot of space. I'm watching off the ball there, and Anthony and myself were talking about it in terms of even the puck outs. Dara Power trying to go man for man on Fitzgibbon, and then he's letting him there. That's a really difficult thing to do, Joanne, but one of the key inputs into that amount of space inside and it being a danger for Dublin is the Cork are dominating in around the middle of the field.
Yeah, their half-back line is completely on top, John, and they've no handle got on this man at all. I think Declan Dalton has drifted everywhere, right from the get-go on his own wing, winning that free and scoring it at the start. He has swapped wings, he laid on the first hand pass for the goal. They've no handle got on him. There's no doubt they're winning midfield, and their half-back line, bar Fergal Whiteley, has made some impression. You'd have to say Brian Hayes and Rian McBride haven't got into the game.
Can you see them being able to do anything to stop that?
Well, no, they were down 3 goals. Like, to be fair to Keane Sullivan's goal, like, and 60 minutes, I just took a note. Sean Curry knew they had to get a goal, and they did, to be fair. They didn't run it out. At 27 minutes, we were hearing the boys in blue. They were starting to come back into the game, but just Cork's inside line so threatening. I suppose there's been a lot of upheaval, to be fair to Dublin. Like, Andy Dunphy went off, yellow card, was under pressure, taken off. Conor McHugh, who's playing well for him, went off injured. That's 2 of your 6 defenders gone. They've ended up with Brian Hayes, centre-back, to curb the pace. And the biggest thing that Dublin haven't faced before is the pace of this Cork team, whether it's running or moving the ball so fast.
The only thing they'll take, Joanne, is they were 15 down against Kilkenny, brought it back to 2.
Yeah.
I remember we were on a different game the same day, and against Galway they went way down and brought it back to 4. So they keep fighting, I think.
They need the fight of their life. Cork's inside line have 4-7 already in that opening half. 2 men on a hat-trick at the moment. Back to Brendan and Marty.
Thank you very much, Joanne, and away we go. Out of 4-13 that Cork scored in that opening half, 4-9 was from play. That is really awesome. That is very impressive. And Dublin have a huge mountain to climb, and it could get worse. Darragh Fitzgibbon laying it off. Patrick Horgan will be happy enough to tap that over the bar for his 5th point of the game and first of the second half, right from the throw-in.
Yeah, that would have been Neil O'Callaghan's battle cry going out, win the throw-in. Unfortunately, we've lost that first one now, but Dublin going to have to show great heart here now. A bit of confidence on the ball just to try to get back into this game a little bit score by score.
Donald Burke, as you can see, has just been introduced. Player that's gone off is Rian McBride. But I have to say, Donald Burke is one of the best forwards in the game, never mind in Dublin. Can he make a difference? Here's a chance! Patrick Collins, I think, blocked it, but the ball ultimately went wide. But there's a real opportunity there for Dublin when the ball is dropped in. Fast, furious. There was an opportunity here, just a miss-hit by Ronan Hayes.
Cornerback play, Marty, unbelievable. Sean O'Donoghue, look at that hook in there. Oh, that's a joy from a defensive point of view. What about the 4 goals up the other side? Composure, got the hook in, goal-saving tackle.
And that's the second time he's done that. He blocked one in the first half. So Sean O'Donoghue playing really well at left corner back. And Cork putting the pressure on, but there was a chop down, so there's going to be a free for Dublin just inside their own 45-metre line. It's a long, long way back for Dublin. 11 points down now. Ball dropping in again. Patrick Collins comes off. Good hands by the keeper from Ballinhassig. And he has plenty of support. Kieran Joyce is an immediate option. Flicking it on towards Declan Dalton. Quick hands, and away come Cork again. Asking serious questions of this Dublin defence. It's Brian Hayes twisting, turning, and he miscued that one. That's gone too much to the right and wide. 8th wide of the match for Cork. But you can hardly criticise the Cork forwards when you consider that they've fought 4-10 from play.
They've changed their shape as well. Connolly and Horton gone inside with Hayes playing on the edge of the D, give himself more space to operate like we saw there.
Robert Downey battling hard, there's a struggle. The referee says, I think that the Dublin player was lying on the ball. He's going to give a free to Cork, just inside their own 65-metre line. Johnny Murphy doing the explaining to the players. I wonder what Neil O'Callaghan said to his players, because it is disappointing. They showed a lot of character, I have to say, but you concede 4 goals in the opening half of an All-Ireland semi-final, and it's not good news. taken by Declan Dalton. This one swings to the left and wide.
And all he can say to him, Marty, in a lot of ways, is taking in 10-minute spells, win the next 10, win the next 10, and see how we go from there.
Sean Brennan sends it down towards the Hogan stand, and beautiful play by the Glen Rovers man. Robert Downing, nice ball inside. There's an opportunity here for another score. Straight between the post and over the bar for Diarmuid Healy's first point of the match.
Too much space, way too much space there. You can see the accuracy, the shoulder high pass like a missile into the hands of Dudsey there. It's a good score, but great movement. They need to be tighter than that on him. 5
of the 6 Cork forwards have now scored. The absentee, surprisingly enough, is Shane Barrett. Tim O'Mahony. Great hands again by Brian Hayes. He just can't seem to control him at all. Trying to stop his gallop here, Dublin. Back there in numbers is Conor Burke. Back fires Diarmuid Healy. Bit of a scrum, but eventually Dublin come away with it, to their credit. The hooking by Cork is very impressive. Where goes Sean Curry? Heading, he needs a bit of support. Pass comes back, fires Fergal Whiteley, who's playing really well at centre-half forward, and that is going to register his 3rd point of the game. A primary school teacher from Scoil San Tressa, Mount Merion, an Irish language ambassador as well. He's playing a major part for Dublin in this All-Ireland semi-final.
He is, and well done to Sean Curry as well. He's been chased down by Decky Dalton and Dara Fitzgibbon, but he recycled the ball to create the opportunity.
Long puck out by Patrick Collins. Knocked away this time, but again there was a chop down. You could hear the chop even up here on the 7th floor. Going to be a free for Cork. Going to be taken by Patrick Horgan, no doubt. Dead straight in front of the post.
Yeah, it's what makes the inside line so hard to deal with Cork, Marty. In the first half, they were all playing inside the 21. Second half, Hayes, see him there now, edge of the D. He's gone top of the triangle. The 2 boys are staying inside Horgan and Connolly. So he's brought his man, Paddy Smith, out to more space so they can get him involved in the game more. And it's just the variety in the way they play creates all kind of problems for inside defenders.
Patrick Horgan. Straight between the posts and over the bar for a 6th point of the game. 4 of those from frees.
And again, Cork have pushed up all over the place. That's why Sean Brennan is waiting.
Has no option, Dublin keeper, but to go long. I have to say I'm impressed with Fergal Whiteley. He's playing really well. Centre-half forward. Here comes Sean O'Donoghue. Equally, may I say, playing well. Doing his primary job of hooking and blocking. If you want to know how to do it, look at Sean O'Donoghue when you get a chance after this match in his performance so far. Ball is aimed at Patrick Horgan. He takes the left turn and away he goes. There's only one thing on his mind. You can see it passing inside. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This time, Tim O'Mahony scores the goal, but created by a beautiful turn by the 36-year-old from Glen Rovers called Patrick Horgan.
Yeah, we talk all the time, Marty, before the game about follow the runner, follow the runner. Dublin lost the runner. It was Conor Burke. Oh, what a pass from Hoggy. Little smile there, and he's entitled to it. Very, very clever, not happy to hit it over the bar. And a good finish from O'Mahony. Normally a guy could hit the goalie with that. He was very cool.
Beautifully caught by John Heatherton. Little hook again. The referee has blown his whistle. He's given a free for an infringement, and that's going to be a free for Dublin.
Yeah, Heatherton do well again to catch that high ball, but he's just dragged back. He is a threat, but inside, Marty, they can't get the ball in deep enough around the edge of the square for him to do his thing. Ball's dropping around the 14. O'Leary's coming in, sweetening it up. Donoghue sweetening it up. It's very frustrating for him in there.
Sean Curry going to take this. Won an All-Ireland club medal, of course, with Nufina. Taking this, going for his 5th point of the match. He's playing well from play as well, I must say. And his consistency and freeze is impressive. It's a point back, but it's still a long way. Long puck out from Patrick Collins. Dara Fitzgibbon in acres of Croke Park land. Lifts, strikes and scores his 3rd point of the game. twice an All-Star back in 2018 and of course last year as well.
Yeah, again, they just shut down. The Dublin are leaving the runners go on the puck outs. It's not easy either down there, Marty, to be fair, with the way the scoreline is, just to keep chasing, but you have to keep chasing. If you care anything about the three of your full back line, you have to keep chasing to stop that ball from going in. Because as we know, to date, anything goes in anyway right is danger, danger.
Mark Coleman. Short ball towards Declan Dalton and Shane Barrett. This is Dara Power, who's fouled, and that's going to be a free for Dublin.
Yeah, it is just a Coleman there, just a hand slipped up really as much as anything else. So Pat Ryan there down with his selectors, wondering which one of Shane Kingston, Robbie O'Flynn, Conor Lahan or Luke Mead are going to enter the fray next.
Yellow card for Mark Coleman. Was an All-Star back in 2017, but heading in the right direction in 2025 as well, as his team have their eyes set on a place in the All-Ireland final in a few weeks' time. They've gone about their task with great gusto and passion, and indeed with style, and a huge array of hurling skills. Sean Curry sending this over the bar for a 6-point in the game.
I think composure and confidence as well, Marty, is what we're seeing in this Cork team here, the way they've played the game, the way they've taken the goal chances.
Johnny Murphy is blowing his whistle ferociously there. He wants to have a word with two players. Dara Fitzgibbon is one, and looks like Dara Power is the other.
Fitzgibbon got away from Power the last time, and Power's decided now you're not getting away this time. He has to do that. He has to stay touch tight. He has to give him that tug on the jersey to not let him go.
To give you an idea how the Munster champions have performed, I just issue that statistic again. Out of 5-17, 5 goals and 12 points from play in an All-Ireland semi-final. Really, really impressive. Conor Burke going for the return pass. Again, Rob Downey is there. Donald Burke gets the benefit of the doubt and gets the sideline ball as well.
Cork will be happy as well that Rob Downey in your shot there is moving really, really well, really freely. Seems to be finding that bit of form when it matters the most.
Quickly taken. Far as Conor Burke. Dropping this in. Kept in, not quite. Umpire has signalled wide ball, despite the best efforts of John Heatherton. Dublin making changes. Diarmuid Dooling is coming on, and the player that's going off is Ronan Hayes.
Very tough day off for Ronan Hayes. Supply of ball really wasn't getting in there. Wasn't able to make an impact out around the middle either.
Not a good puck out by Patrick Collins on this occasion, and away goes Fergal Whiteley. Heading towards goal, lays it off. There's an opportunity, and the referee had blown his whistle and given a free to Dublin.
Yeah, and that was that man Donohoe again while he was on the advantage. Whiteley coming through here, but watch Donohoe coming in with the hurley here now in a sec. There he is. Just got the breakaway to make sure there wasn't a goal opportunity while they're on advantage. Looks like he might be going for it here. He's placed the ball a nice bit outside the 21. He'll tap it over the bar, I'd say.
The run is being made now. Goal is on their mind. Here comes the shot, and it's worked. Brilliant goal. Scored by Cian O'Sullivan, his second goal of the game. They thought about it, they pondered about it, then they decided to go for it. That's Sean Curry to Cian O'Sullivan, and a rasper into the back of the Cork net.
Yeah, I was wondering what Curry was looking at. He was below, having a little peek around as he put the ball down. Gazzi's head tilted. I didn't see O'Sullivan coming there, the same as the Cork backs didn't either. Very clever, well done.
Here comes Shane Barrett. Good pressure. Now can Dublin build in this second goal? 32 points to 21. 5-17 to 2-15. Nice little jink by Conor Burke. Great work by Tim O'Mahony. Referee has his arm outstretched to say advantage, and that is sent straight left and wide, I was going to say, but the referee now is insisting on the advantage being given, and that's a free in for Dublin.
There's Tim O'Mahony, the first tackle, everyone thought it was a free on Conor Burke. It wasn't, it was the second one. That one's fine there, but it's the drag back. You see the pull back on the left shoulder there. That was the infringement. Gives Curry the opportunity now.
This to reduce Cork's lead to 10 points, which was the story at half-time. Happy enough, I'm sure, to tap this over the bar. Mission accomplished. They get a little bit closer. Still a mountain to climb. 32-22, 5:17 to 2:16. The clock ticking towards the 50th minute. 22 minutes still to go. Plenty of time. And Dublin beginning to win the 50-50 balls. Keeping calm. Finding a target. Laying it off. Much better from Dublin. They look up. They see what are the possibilities. Over the shoulder. And that looks pretty impressive. Great score by Dublin. Well worked. And John Heatherton puts his name on the score sheet for the first time.
You know, it's unbelievable hands, Heatherton, to be fair to him there, facing down towards his own goals there. And here's Robbie O'Flynn in now. The cavalry is starting to arrive for Cork to give them more energy. They have gone a little bit flat in fairness to Dublin. They're keeping the tempo as high as they can.
Robbie O'Flynn for Dermot Healy. I'd say it won't be too long before Shane Kingston or any others will be introduced as Cork kind of step up in energy levels. Paddy Doyle is fouled. That's going to be a free. Coming out to take the free is going to be Sean Brennan. Outside his own 20-metre line, a long way from his own goal post at the Davin end. Nobody really making a run, so he has to go long. Mark Coleman put up his hand to it. Donald Burke goes down on the ball, but Cork come away with it. Feeding Declan Dalton. Going long with the intended target, Brian Hayes. Dublin doing better. Whoops. Just as I pass the compliment. Nipping in is this man, Tim O'Mahony. Ball inside towards Alan Connolly. There's 2 against 1, and it's another goal. Tim O'Mahony with his second goal. Alan Connolly 2-2. Brian Hayes 2-1. Tim O'Mahony 2-1. It is so daunting from a Dublin perspective, and so wonderful from a Cork hurling team performance.
Yeah, the Dubs have shot themselves in the foot there. Marty Bellew done really well to beat Connolly out to the ball. Came across the side, turnover, and then it's up the back of your own net. Great skill from Tim O'Mahony, though, the one-handed flick.
We've had a few of them. Alan Connolly, and indeed that shot for Alan Connolly was created by Tim O'Mahony in the first half, and Cork have responded to every attempted resurgence by Dublin. They too have remained in control. Referee Johnny Murphy has blown his whistle. He's given a free to Cork.
He has, yeah. It was a pull back inside there. Lucy is the man who's just pulled back Horgan. But if it's to Tim O'Mahony there, the very minute around the middle of the field, he didn't even think. He just get the ball in there to the boys. Hayes actually was on the ball in possession, but just behind him, Horgan had gotten the tug. Pulled down.
4 goals between them. David Lucy now on a yellow card. 6-17, 2-17. Honestly, Brendan, I know we were saying there'd be goals in this match, but I don't think we expected 8 goals after 52 minutes.
Yeah, certainly not. No, in fairness to Dublin, they probably left 2 out there as well, and Cork maybe 1 more, but you always know with Cork, the way they set up, that it's going to be a goal fest, and things keep going the way they're going here. They'll be playing again in a few weeks' time. Manny with the pass inside, runs on again after it, not happy just to give it, goes and follows it again. That is the absolute key to success.
Sean Brennan again going long. Mark Coleman wins it cleanly into the space. Away goes Patrick Horgan. putting the pressure on. Doing well against David Lucy. Lucy, in return, wins the possession. Full credit to him. Conor Donoghue. Shane Barrett has the arm outstretched, but the referee says the Dublin man was taking too much out of it, Paddy Doyle. Overcarried, free to Cork.
Yeah, good tackle from Barrett there. He didn't leave the Dublin defender coming out with the ball, roll his hand up high. We'll see it here again here now. You can see the hand, keeping the hands low. The referee decided that Paddy Doyle had pulled the hurley up over the head rather than Barrett putting it there on purpose, and gives Patrick Horgan this opportunity. But just in a flash, Marty, Dublin were just about coming back into the little bit of a lull in the crowd, everyone wondering what's happening. Next thing, a turnover and bang, a goal. It's a serious threat they have down there.
Patrick Horgan going for his 8th point of the match. And never in any doubt. Once the radar is working, Hoggy will always be on fire.
Kingston's below, getting the pep talk from the Cork backroom team. He's next up. If you're a tired Dublin defender down there, the last fella you want to see coming in is him now.
Well won by Donald Burke. He's won himself a free. As Cork were fouling. Robbie O'Flynn picking up the hurley and going back into his position. Niall O'Callaghan trying to make further changes in the 54th minute. As we anticipated, Shane Kingston has gotten his instructions and will be introduced, and he will add more energy and firepower to the Cork attack. And in the modern game of 2025, the squad is so important.
Oh, it's absolutely key, and getting him out onto the pitch, and Robbie O'Flynn. Suppose we might see Luke Meade at some stage, or Conor Lehan as well. Getting them game time is going to be key. Hoggy gets an unbelievable response from the supporters. Look at that, rightly so, the service that man has given again today. He anchored the attack really well, distributes the ball.
Standing ovation from the people of Cork. There is a love and respect for this man, Patrick Horgan, Glen Rovers. Meanwhile, Sean Curry will try to concentrate on taking the free. You can see in his jersey there is a strong breeze down at pitch level. This could be his 8th point of the game, but the reaction from the Hill 16 crowd would indicate it's wide, and it is. More changes coming from the sideline.
I think they're ready yet, so we'll continue with the play. Wait now. A little bit of over and back with the 4th official down there.
Not too sure what they're doing. Johnny Murphy is delaying the puck out.
Tommy O'Connell is the man that's down there ready to come on. He actually entered the field of play, which confused everybody before he was given the green light to do so.
It looks like Rob Downey is coming back on. Anyway, let's continue on with the play. Sean Curry. Long ball up to John Heatherton and company. Sean O'Donoghue sweeping back. Laying it off for Kieran Joyce. Tim O'Mahony. Nice turn. 2-man full forward line, and here is the speedy wizard that is Shane Kingston from Douglas. Looking around to see anybody outside. There is Robbie O'Flynn. And Robbie O'Flynn takes too many steps. That's going to be a free for Dublin just inside their own half of the field. It's been a disappointing afternoon for Dublin after that incredible performance against Limerick. But really, Cork were firing in all cylinders, particularly their attack. 6 goals in All-Ireland semi-final is impressive. Sean Curry. Great block down. Full marks to a Cork defence. They've been hooking and blocking. Over for is Declan Dalton in the middle of the field. He gives it absolutely everything. Listen to the roar.
You could nearly hear the support. This is all came from Coleman. Look at his block here again. It's those skills. I know we talk about the goals, but you could hear the Cusack stand shouting, shoot, shoot, shoot to Decky Dalton when he got it. And he pulled the trigger, and sure as anything else, goes over the bar.
Donald Burke. Nice ball inside. We'll ask a couple of questions here, perhaps. The Cork are back there. Karen Fergal-Whiteley laying it off quickly, and that zips over the crossbar. Good score. Full marks to Conor Burke with his 3rd point of the match. So now the substitution can take place. That's Tommy O'Connell anyway. And Tommy is going to be coming on for Robert Downey.
Cork supporters will be delighted to see how well Robert Downey's played here today. Been really athletic around the pitch. He had those couple of injuries and all, but he's definitely found his mojo now, heading into what you'd expect an All-Ireland final in a few weeks' time.
Winning that Munster Championship has been a huge advantage, hasn't it, Brendan? Because it gave them the break, unlike Limerick.
It did, there's no doubt about it, and they have the maturity as well, Marty, to manage that, and we can see here Pat Ryan has managed that break absolutely perfectly, the way his players have hit the ground running here.
Dublin never give up, to their great credit, but they need to create goals. Instead, Kieran Joyce and Cork are doing the simple things well. They're going for the score, uses the pass of the hurley to control the shuttle and scores his 1st point. Wonderful play.
It is, and as that's spinning over the bar to O'Mahony, goes back to mark his man, and you know, there's complete concentration and focus down there. Even though they're miles ahead of Dublin at this stage, they're still getting the good behaviours off the ball.
Dublin with the possession now. For Cork still chasing and harassing. From the middle of the field they have to shoot, and the ball is well wide. And John Heatherton is his arms outstretched at the edge of the square. Say, will he let it in, lads?
He's gone out of his mind. The only time he gets on the ball and he goes down puck outs. Here we go, turnover now, chance.
Right man, right place, could be Donald Burke. He was under pressure, gets the ball in quickly. John Heatherton thought about giving it a little jink. Inside towards Sean Curry. Dublin trying to create a goal. Backfires Donald Burke. Looking around to see what could they do. Overfires Cian O'Sullivan. And eventually Cian O'Sullivan, well, is that inside the post? Nope, they're going to Hawkeye for the first time in this All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, they're just tapping the ball around there. Cork defence happy to leave him play sideways. I think it looked like it may have been slightly wide. Heatherton got the ball. In fairness to him, he was trying to create that goal opportunity. We'll see here now.
Is it a tall or is it a kneel? Just, it might be outside. It is a tall.
Yep.
Score given. And every point is invaluable to Dublin at this stage. Just for your information, in terms of the 6 goals and 21 points, 6 goals and 14 points now coming from play. Long ball. Wonderfully caught. Brilliant play by Declan Dalton. Ball is on the ground. Shane Kingston, the referee, has blown his whistle and given a free into Cork. Sean Brennan is telling his players get on the goal line, but I think Cork at this stage will be just happy to tap this over. Look at this.
See the way he used the hurley to break the defender's hand away. Total composure, great catch, fouled obviously on the way back by Conor Donohoe. Seamus Harnedy hasn't made the matchday plan today because of injury, and Decky Dalton is fair taking his chance.
Here's Declan Dalton. He created the opportunity with a great catch, and he puts the subsequent free between the posts and over the bar. 6:22. 40 points, 2:19:25.
Yeah, Dalton's gone into the full forward line there now with Kingston and Connolly. Hayes is out in the half forward line with Barrett and Robbie O'Flynn.
Long puck out again from Sean Brennan. Picked up by Kieran Joyce. Tim O'Mahony, back to Joyce. Newtown Shandrum to Castlemar to Darragh Fitzgibbon, actually it is. Darragh Fitzgibbon laying it off Shane Kingston. Little shimmy, he suddenly saw the space in front of him and he taps that over the bar. Good score by the Douglas man, but it's just Cork in total control in every sense.
That is Conor Lahan's coming in now for Shane Barrett in there.
Conor Lahan coming on, as Brendan says, for Shane Barrett, as the fight for places continues on. But there's no doubt about it, but this Cork team have the squad. We've often mentioned that in the league and in the championship, They just have those 26 players.
But they have. We saw it today in the Munster final when Kingston Lehane came on. Lehane just came out of nowhere, we'll say, for all the world. Hadn't really been seeing much of him, in fairness to Pat Ryan. Great management of players. He just came on, he did his job, and here again today he'd be delighted to get these guys in there. There's a bigger day ahead now, and he will need those coming down the home straight in an All-Ireland final.
Tommy O'Connell. Backfires Dara Fitzgibbon. Shane Kingston. Conor Lehane. Kingston has only one thing on his mind. That's always to go for goal. Difficult enough angle, but he manages it perfectly. He's a really good player. Second point of the match.
Yeah, he stood up to defence lovely again there. Thought that he might be hitting the ball over the bar, and then went for a soft shoulder to get inside. Had the advantage, didn't need it, obviously.
For Pat Ryan, it's a job that's been impressively done. All-Ireland final beckons. Sean Brennan sends it down that Cusack stand side, hoping to get a blue jersey on it, picked up by Mark Coleman. Conor Lehane is back helping out his defence. Paddy Smith should have this situation under control. Sean Brennan is with him if he needs him. Over this side is available is Paddy Doyle. Again, Cork going first to the ball. Just a little nick by Sean O'Donoghue. He's a joy to watch, the cornerback from Inniscarra. Just doing the simple things so well. Talk about doing the simple things well. Here's Blackrock's Alan Connolly. We've had 2 one-hand flicks in this match. We've also had spectacular scores. E.g. Conor Lehane, his first in the match.
Yeah, again, Lehane, just that little step there. Some skill though from Donoghue, Marty, it has to be said. That flick again is really, really impressive down there. Great defence. Here he goes again.
Donoghue laying it off. Robbie O'Flynn heading towards goal. Oh, he's going for it. He lays it off. Alan Connolly for the hat-trick. Brilliant. Alan Connolly has scored 3 goals and 2 points in an All-Ireland semi-final. Last year against Tipperary, I remember he scored 3 goals and a point. The Blackrock man has found his mojo, he's found his form. He's unstoppable at the moment, and Dublin have no answer to the full forward.
Oh, great finish. Best of luck, Pat Ryan, everybody in Cork quelling the anticipation now on the favourites tag for an All-Ireland final. 7 goals. That's an unbelievable finish again, but the bravery and the boldness to say, look, we want goals, it's a fair statement.
Cork 7 goals, 25 points. Dublin 2 goals and 19. Ball comes back outside. Opportunity this time, and it's well taken by Donegal Dooling. I think it was Keane O'Sullivan actually got the end of it there, as Dublin keep battling away. Conal O'Riordan is coming on for Dublin, and the player that's going off is Keane O'Sullivan.
Jack O'Connor's coming on as if didn't have enough pace already down there. Here he comes.
Jack O'Connor coming on for Cork. Player that's going off is Declan Dalton, who's been very, very impressive in this All-Ireland semi-final. And he too gets a standing ovation as the Cork fans, who have really come in their thousands to Croke Park for this All-Ireland semi-final. But they've been rewarded with that scoreline on your television screens. Cork 7 goals, 25 points. Dublin 2 goals and 20. 4 minutes to go. Cork still chasing everything. Robbie O'Flynn, sideline ball. It's going to Dublin.
See there in the line, doesn't care about the scoreboard. He's just biting in there to Robbie O'Flynn. You shouldn't lose possession there. Standards, standards, standards.
I actually think it was a Cork ball, to be honest with you, Brendan, but that was the decision of the linesman. Referee gives the free to Dublin. Throw ball. He's indicating.
Pat Ryan is still very animated down on the line there. He's still going after Robbie O'Flynn in the boys inside there.
Sean Brennan. He might have been beaten 7 times, but let's be honest, they were all unstoppable.
There's nothing he can, to be honest, Marty, there's nothing he can do down there. When he pick it out of the net, try to forget about it and get going again.
Long ball up towards Donald Burke. Difficult angle, and that is going over the bar. Good score, Donald Burke. He really is a prolific scorer, and he's a fine hurler. He's been out injured for some time, so it's good to see him back. Ball comes back for as Dara Power. Conor Burke. Dara Power again. Conor Burke. Over for as Dara Power. As Dublin slowly, methodically tried to create an opportunity. Brian Hayes, John Heatherton is underneath it, but the ball is wide. Brian Hayes knows that he needed to hit it less powerfully, because whatever chance they have of getting another goal, they need to drop it in around the house. Puck out for Patrick Collins is accurate, finds Dara Fitzgibbon, and under a little bit of pressure sends that hopping out over the end line and wide. Just over a minute to go. Joy for Cork, and the agony is about to be over for Dublin. After all the excitement of beating Limerick, they'll be so disappointed with this. But Cork had the opportunity over the last 4 weeks to find their energy levels, and they've come to Croke Park for this All-Ireland semi-final refreshed and eager to impress.
Oh, they have, and this is the first time Dublin have played any kind of team like this, Marty, to be honest, that go man for man all over the pitch, lead the full back line completely exposed. It's really, really difficult, and when they do, and you're not able to match them for intensity, they score 7 goals on you. And that's the way it works with Cork, to be fair to them. That's what's made them as good as they are.
Sean Curry really has no other option here, but in terms of respectability on the scoreline, is to go for goal. 5 Cork players on the goal line, including the keeper, Patrick Collins. Here comes Sean Curry. Hops it in front of Patrick Collins, but he's equal to it. There's a bit of a frontal challenge on the keeper. Cork didn't like it, and there is a reaction.
Patrick Collins did really well in there, Marty. Now, he was caught on the way out, there's no doubt about that. The backs are always going to protect the poor old goalie. It's the way it works. But Collins did well. You see, he traps it here well, gets the pick up, really brave. Heatherton is coming in there, he's swinging the hurley. All right, so just, I'd say you might get a yellow card for that, but Collins is really, really good. That's what drove the Cork backs mad. See Tom O'Mahony inside there, that little swipe.
Yellow card for John Heatherton for the pull on the Cork keeper. Niall O'Callaghan has certainly left his mark in his first year as Dublin manager. But he'll be heartbroken over the scoreline and indeed over the performance overall. 4 minutes of additional time in this All-Ireland semi-final. And Patrick Collins going long. Conor Lahan trying to knock it down into the path of a colleague, and he succeeds to find Jack O'Connor. And every substitute has made an impression. Jack O'Connor, Shane Kingston, Robbie O'Flynn, Conor Lahan.
Yeah, Jack O'Connor's first touch of the ball, he pings the ball over the bar from the sideline. The Cusick stand side. That's impressive now.
Well, Dooling is fouled as he's going forward. Going to be a free for Dublin outside the Cork 45-metre line.
Tim O'Mahony in there, Dara Fitzgibbon, they have never stopped running all day. The scoreboard actually didn't mean anything to them. Dublin go quick.
Cork defending, alert as always. Seemed to be a little push in the back, I have to say, but anyway, got away with it by Mark Coleman. Seemed to be a throw ball, and it was. But the noise here, sometimes it's hard to hear the referee's whistle. But it's a free in for Dublin.
It's any time you put the hand over the head to hand pass the ball, you have to be really careful. Coleman did it there, it looked like he threw it. We might see it again either way. A lot of it's immaterial. He'll be looking to go quick here again.
And it's good to see referees clamping down on the throw ball.
Yeah.
Opportunity for Sean Curry. Trying to get the ball away. Referee claiming that he was being held, which he was. And that's going to be another free for Dublin. And they inch closer and closer to Patrick Collins, who's standing between the posts down there at the Hill 16 end. Once again, it'll be Sean Curry.
Dublin players have to be outside the 21. Foul happened inside the 21, so the referee is just shepherding them all outside. You have to go out, lads, before you can take it.
Sean Curry, 7 points to his credit in this match. He's going to go for it. Stopped by Patrick Collins. And away he comes. Dropped it, but he knew what he was doing. He had the support of Sean O'Donoghue. Giving it back for his fullback, Owen Downey, relieves the pressure. Nice stick work again by Shane Kingston. We've seen some beautiful wrist work, particularly by Brian Hayes of Cork in that first half. Pass goes astray. Jack O'Connor tried to get there. Dublin have it, however. They'll try and relieve the pressure. There's a pull down on the Dublin midfielder, Conor Donoghue, and there's going to be a free. And also, a little word, referee Johnny Murphy with Tim O'Mahony for that clap down on the Dublin man, rightly getting a yellow card. We're on the 74th minute. Cork about to book. When the referee blows the final whistle, they've done it since early in this match. Booked their place in the All-Ireland final for the 2nd year in a row. Conor Burke dropping this in around the house. They'll try and connect, bat it away. Referee is going to stretch out his arms, blow the full-time whistle. Game over. Cork are back in the All-Ireland hurling final for the 2nd year in a row. Job done for Pat Ryan, and it's been hugely impressive. Niall O'Callaghan will congratulate his direct opponent, and I have no doubt that Pat Ryan, being the gentleman he is, will say well done on the year in his very first year. But this team, this Cork team, are further ahead in terms of their development. But there has to be hope, there has to be the dream for Dublin to eventually get to that All-Ireland final for the first time since 1961. But it's not going to happen in 2025, because there's no doubt that Cork were the better team. An awesome display of goal scoring, and indeed point scoring as well, as they scored 7 goals and 26 points, 7 goals and 18 points from play, before a full house in Croke Park on All-Ireland semi-final day.
Yeah, in fairness to Dublin, they have done well to get to this point. It's all a learning curve for Niall O'Callaghan's team. They'll take a lot maybe from the journey to get to here. I'd say just discount this game out. From Cork's point of view, absolutely ruthless is the word I'd use for them. The way they went about their business, 7 goals, just kept going for goals, didn't care about the scoreboard. We're going to do our thing. They're deservedly obviously in an Ireland final. And to be fair to Cork, best of luck with taking down the hype that this is going to generate now. But they'll know Tipperary or Kilkenny tomorrow evening. They'll have who they're playing. It'll bring them back down to earth again. But well done to Cork. Really, really good professional, ruthless performance.
A wonderful performance by Cork. Brian Hayes on 2-1. Tim O'Mahony on 2-1. Alan Connolly with 3 goals and 2 points. And the full-time scoreline. Cork, 7 goals, 26 points. Dublin, 2 goals and 21.
Marty and Brendan, thank you both for that. Donaloe Cusack, what is that you can hear pulling into the station just now?
It's an excellent performance, Joanne. Cork, I definitely like the ruthless comment that either Brendan or Marty made there against Tipperary when Cork earlier, it was maybe questioned that as the Cork maybe took the foot off the pedal and stuff like that. I would say from a hurling point of view, what happened today was not what we wanted. We were hoping that, you know, Dublin would put up or be able to put up a better fight than that. But all credit to Cork. Cork can only beat them what's in front of them there today, and so much really solid performance. Patrick Collins, very good in goals, distribution was good, really solid in the full back line. Thought 2 cornerbacks for Cork were very good. Excellent movement all over the field, and we've seen real examples of how dangerous the Cork forward line are, and especially if they're given space.
You can hear the noise all around us, Anthony. It is going to be hard to keep a lid on this. And why not? They've just scored 7 goals in an All-Ireland semi-final.
Yeah, the words of the song are simple enough, Joanne Killa, but it's getting some air in at the moment, I'll tell you. Yeah, fantastic rendition. Yeah, they just, you know, can you take them on in a game like that? The way Dublin took them on, you know, they were just, the movement was unstoppable.
We'll have more on that in just a moment. One man who capitalised on a lot of that movement is the man of the match, and he's with Damien.
Thank you, Joanne. Alan Connolly You are the Borgash Energy Man of the Match, and Dave Kerwin from Borgash Energy is here to present you with your award. Well done, Dave. Alan, what do you make of that performance? Absolutely clinical and kept going till the very, very end. Competition for place is driving that performance, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I think our goal was to have a good start. We were a bit worried at half time if that would dip, and it did a bit, but we kept going there. And see the score, but I think it was 7 goals. Yeah, we're delighted with that win. Yeah.
Just in the first half, the quality of ball going into you guys, I suppose defence was on top, but lovely angle ball going in. Must be fantastic as an inside forward to be getting your hands on that.
Yeah, we were delighted we were working as a team. We stopped the ball going in, they keep the ball coming in. So savage ball going in, but everyone played their part.
Alan, around the 25th, 26th minute, Dublin started to claw back a little bit. They started to get a little bit of a foothold. How did you guys reset?
I don't know really. We just scored a goal. It was a bit.
Could be a worse response, in fairness. Just in terms of playing out here today, the sharpness of the whole occasion. Great to be back in an All-Ireland final again, where you were this time last year.
Yeah, it was a good performance, but we've no doubt the Cork crowd will follow us again in 2 weeks' time, so we're looking forward to that one.
OK, Borgash Energy Man of the Match, Alan Connolly, thanks very much.
Oh, they absolutely will follow you anywhere these days, especially if they're going to see a hat-trick. There was actually, and people might be surprised at this, there was actually a bit of debate over who'd be the man of the match. A reflection probably of how Cork played as well.
Well, they had so many players, to be fair. I did feel strongly for the man in the half-forward line. I always think it's easier to finish the balls inside, to be honest. But I thought Declan Dalton was immense for Cork this year. And it's just, Alan Connolly was brilliant, 1 assist. We see his stats there. He had 6 shots. He scored 3 too, so the efficiency of him was excellent. And I think he's a real crowd pleaser as well. Donald will obviously know him better, but obviously he was soaking up the attention and he's a real big-time player. But I thought Declan Dalton, I was just thinking about that. Declan Dalton wasn't in the team in the Munster final and he was close to being man of the match. And you've Seamus Harnedy watching this today, who's going to be coming back. So the options Cork have, whatever about the hype that's going to come, but internally, there's serious competition there, and I think that will keep things fairly calm from over the next few weeks.
Plus last year will help with that, They beat Limerick twice and the hype was huge. They'll learn a lot from that. It's the same bunch of players, same management. I thought Dalton was outstanding. They couldn't get a handle on him all day. I thought Tim O'Mahony was outstanding as well. I have to say, Robert Downey.
There's so many of them.
So many of them. Sean O'Donoghue, the hook on Ronan Hayes here after half-time was just, defending, the textbook defending.
Yeah, because as much as I know O'Donoghue, so many people will be disappointed that Dublin weren't able to do their stuff today, but Cork certainly were. So it means it's a second successive All-Ireland final for manager Pat Ryan.
Pat, how happy are you with that performance?
I look delighted. Look, we came up here to win. That was the key aim. We know we're coming up with a formidable team after the way they played, and we really prepared really well for them. We knew the last 3 or 4 weeks had gone really, really well. Look, obviously disappointed 1 or 2 injuries that we were short, but look, played really well today, but there's still a lot of our area that we weren't happy with. Efficiency wasn't good enough, our tackle from behind wasn't good enough. We gave away 1 or 2 sloppy goals. So look, there's something that we'll work on. That everything needs to be perfect for an All-Ireland final. It wasn't perfect last year. We need to be perfect in 2 weeks' time.
Your inside forward line got 4-7 in the first half alone, but your defence provided some amount of quality ball into them as well.
I thought they were outstanding. I thought Owen Downey, to be marking John Herderton there was outstanding. Sean O'Donoghue, Niall O'Leary, they dealt with every ball that was coming into them. But look, that's what you need. Our backs have been really, really good this year. Probably better than our forwards, but today our forwards probably took off.
Pat, just for an All-Ireland final, you said everything has to be spot on. Are those 3 issues that you raised, I suppose, work very, very hard in these over the next 2 weeks, because it has to be that peak again in a couple of weeks' time?
It has to be. Look, and you just can't take the foot off the pedal. We'll train really well over the next 2 weeks. That's our plan. And we hopefully we'll go one better than we did last year. We'll enjoy the game tomorrow. It's nice to be in the final. 2 really, really good teams, but something we'll really enjoy tomorrow and watching that.
Just a last question. Before half-time, Dublin looked to be getting maybe a small foothold back in the game. How did you rejig your setup?
I don't know, we just tried to get back to what we were doing. I thought, look, probably didn't take our scores, left a couple of wides behind us, and they got a lot of sharp puckouts out against us. We were chasing the ball a bit and just weren't really tuned in. Look, fellas were looking to get on the scoreboard a bit, as opposed to looking to get tackles and hooks and blocks in.
Pat, finally, a word for your crowd, like a huge crowd, must be 55,000-60,000 from your county alone.
Yeah, unbelievable. Look, we're getting great support over the last couple of years. Look, Cork is a huge hurling county. We're starved of success. The lads are following us. It's making a huge difference to the team.
Thanks for your time, Pat.
Thank you.
Pat Ryan has already started, hasn't he? Lads more interested in getting their scores and getting hooks and blocks in. The very first thing he did was talk up the defenders and give out about the efficiency of the attack.
Yeah, but what do you expect him to do, Joanne?
It's brilliant.
Yeah, but what you see, what you get from Pat, I guarantee it'll be the same conversation in the next couple of weeks. Like they're wise enough. We'll say there was took out one of the greatest teams we've ever seen in Limerick last year. A lot of excitement going into the All-Ireland final. They suffered that defeat. Like, to lose an All-Ireland final is something that the scar never ever leaves you, really. They'll all have a very strong memory of that. They'll have a strong memory of how they felt after getting beaten by 16 points by Limerick. So, like, yeah, they'll be happy tonight, but I guarantee you they'll be reminding themselves of that. There's still a long ways to go. There's a long 70 minutes ahead here in a couple of weeks. And you tell me Kilkenny or Tipperary, whichever one of them wins tomorrow, huge game, that they won't fancy their chances still going into the final. Of course they'll fancy their chances.
Yeah, it's probably one of the little advantages, John, of winning the Saturday semi-final. The extra day is one little thing physically, but mentally, the other crowd come on tomorrow and they get a big win or a great win and they'll be talked up, and that's kind of nice for Pat. And Pat's Pat there, as Donald said, that's him. I could nearly have predicted what he said there, because as we said before the game, he's just solid, he's grounded, he's a good guy.
It's hard to play down your efficiency when your team has just scored 726.
Well, I was having a quick look at Wikipedia. In 1972, Cork scored 720 in an All-Ireland semi-final against London. It seems to be. I hope Wikipedia was right for me now, to be honest. Yeah. And yeah, Cork didn't win the All-Ireland that year, actually. I won't remind you who did, to be fair. But I think Donald Logue, the first thing he turned to was the All-Ireland final defeat last year. Pat Ryan, I'd say in his first 10 words, mentioned the All-Ireland defeat last year. So that's what burns us, that's what drives us. And if you're the hunger or the hunter, you've that heart inside you, and I think that is there, and that's the danger for whoever wins tomorrow.
There are 3 hunters at the moment.
Well, that's exactly it. But Donald is right. If Kilkenny win tomorrow or Tip win tomorrow, will they say we'll have a crack at Cork? They will not be favourites, and it will suit both of those counties going in as underdogs.
We have a lot more reaction and analysis to have to this All-Ireland semi-final, and we have a look to tomorrow's as well. First of all, though, here's the competition.
Here's your chance to jet off with Aer Lingus on their new direct route to Nashville, flying from Dublin 4 times a week. Check it out on airlingus.com. Touching down in Music City, you'll spend 5 nights at Thompson Nashville, a boutique luxury hotel in the vibrant Gulch neighbourhood, just steps from Broadway's iconic live music scene. And to help you explore, there's a VIP Star Card visitor pass for 2 with free admission to more than 25 top attractions. Plus, you'll get $1,000 in spending money to enjoy the nightlife, local cuisine and non-stop lineup of shows. More on visitmusiccity.com. For your chance to win, answer this week's question. Which of these is the current manager of the Meath senior football team? Is it Davy Fitzgerald, Robbie Brennan or Jack O'Connor? To enter, call 15 17 71 71 74 or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57886. Maximum cost per entry is €2.50. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Monday, July 7th. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
For more great shows, go to the RTE Player app on Sky.
Cork are back where they want to be. They are celebrating, but not too much, because they have so much more to do if they're going to finally end that 20-year wait for Liam McCarthy to come back to Leaside. They've beaten Dublin and they've beaten them significantly as well. Will that man finally get his hands on a Celtic cross? So victory by 20 points for Cork. They scored 726 to Dublin's 221. And there are the stats. Turnovers 133 to 26. Hooks and backs only 4 each. Perhaps that sums up how open it was, is it, at times?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I think Dublin got a point there one stage. I think it was around 60-minute. Sean Curry got it, and they had about 5 passes. The Cork full backline was standing off him. At that stage, it'd become a non-event, unfortunately, Joanne, because you know, we'd all big expectations, and I suppose the concern coming in was that could Dublin back it up again? And unfortunately, just with thing and. You know, we probably didn't discuss him in advance, but Chris Cummey is a big leader for them, and he was missed because defensively, and it was just the power and pace of Cork, just they weren't able to live with it.
And everybody would know, John, how much of an admirer I've been of Seamus Harnedy over the years. but Cork had the arsenal of subs and replacements like young Dudsey, and you saw the impact our bench had. Whereas with Conor McHugh going off injured, with Andy Dunphy being taken off, it stretched Dublin without Crummy way more than it would have stretched Cork without Harnedy, in terms of options, and that probably told the tale. It doesn't cover up the scoreline either, but Crummy, spiritual leader from in lots of ways, him missing straight away put him on the back foot.
No, but when you have a team that get 2 men who get 2 goals and then another man who gets a hat-trick, there's only ever going to be one winner.
Yeah, like the lads are saying, like, I suppose if you look at it, Dublin as well finished 3rd in Leinster, like, do you know what I mean? So it is a big ask coming up against the Munster champions. What was good about Cork was, of course, when they get the ball in the forward, and at times they're mesmerising in terms of the skill that they have. And Alan Connolly, he wasn't in possession that many times. He did get his hat-trick. He did set up another one, but every time the ball went in there, you felt that there was the potential for something to happen. Anthony mentioned Tim O'Mahony. Tim O'Mahony was very, very, very good for Cork again. Going forward, huge power, unselfish, brilliant setup for that goal again. I just enjoy watching this from a hurling point of view. I know, Anthony, we've travelled a fair bit over the last couple of months together. We've been on about the amount of one-handed goals that are happening in the game, the Wimbledon-esque in terms of, I just heard in my ear, not my words there. Thanks very much for that, Pádraig. From a Cavan man even, fair play to you, boy. But in terms of that skill, it's beautiful to watch. Is it to do with the hurleys being shorter or whatever? But what you have to give it is that goals win games, and Cork will be very, very happy with when Cork got the chances that they took them. And fair play to Connolly. Like, I get what Anthony is saying. I get that point. You always feel when you watch him, is that what's in your head, that you always feel he could be getting 3 goals, and maybe at times he looks a bit casual on the ball. There was one ball
he's beaten for the first 4 balls, I'd say.
There you go. I get it.
Honestly,
I can understand it.
He was beaten for the first ball, but you just felt, I think I said it to you below on the line too, if he gets one in his fist, and it was laid on for him. But like the assassin nature of him, and I just think, go back to the Munster final, I thought he had a poor game. I'll take a penalty straight away to Pat, and Pat must have been saying, but he knows him well, of course. He knows him well.
That's it, and that the value that belief and the confidence, and
there's a Cork thing, kind of, isn't it?
Is it a potent combination though, himself and Brian Hayes together, Henry?
It absolutely is, and Patrick Horgan, a lovely mixture of them as well that can just pop it out to him. So it is, but I think as well, people will be questioning why did they get so much space, but there's so much danger all over the field, because if you step off Shane Barrett and Declan Dalton, as we've already remarked, and Dudsey in the other wing, and even Tim O'Mahony, so the half-back line is sucked up the field, and it just leaves this wide gaps, and Cork plays so deep inside. The Cork lads sometimes are not even looking from out the field. Everyone talks about this perfect ball. They're sometimes just moving it so quickly inside. And then, as I said, they've just so much running, and the angles of running. And I think the biggest word I could say, there's so much cohesion between the team. They just really are clicking. And that's from playing together and the confidence it brings and the self-belief as well.
Because when you were watching Declan Dalton, and he was talking about Dalton, because we were talking maybe about the 5 points that he scored, including an absolute monster free, and Henry kept saying, but it's everything else that he's doing as well.
Yeah, I mean, his contribution overall, and look, he's been injured. He won this free, Joanne, at the start. I mean, there's a slap of a ball. I don't know. The ladies are playing the Irish Open today. I don't know who won it. There was a lady well ahead.
Lottie Woad, I would imagine.
Yeah, but Jenny, if she had a drive like that. And look, his distribution, his vision there. I mean, Dudsey had a hand in it, but lifted his head. There was no greed involved. I mean, look at this for wrist work. I mean, probably trying to get onto his right, slightly loses his balance, can spin back to the left, and no back lift on it. Here's the other side of the game. I think, look, John Bellew goes up manfully here, but just the strength to be able to hold off. Hoggy's gone off at this stage. He gets the honour and glory of taking it himself.
But even those 2 last points, like that puck at the first one in the first half, he ran into space. It was a set play that worked. The second one was just a big launch of a ball down, and that's the variety Cork come with.
And Coleman makes a massive block here, and he did a very good second half. But where's Dalton again? There's no handle on him either. I think when Dublin look back on it, they'll say they didn't get a handle on him. But has he put up his hand for a place here in 2 weeks? If Harnady's fit or not, I don't think that man will be losing out.
There's little DJ as well with him. He could be playing here, not just like that in a few years' time.
Wants a smaller hurl, Joanne. That's the only problem he has. It's a big hurl for him.
He got a loan to one of Patrick Collins by the looks of it.
What about that decision for Pat Ryan down low? Because Shamie Harnedy has been a Warrior for so many years, a Warrior again this year. He was there back in 2013 as well as last year. How do you make that decision?
Well, I can guarantee you what we said at training this week is, lads, there's positions up for grabs here. You know that. Everyone knows it. He heard Joanne Cantwell on about it even on the television during the week. He mightn't mention you, right? But the course, it's perfect. It's a great situation to be in, that there's going to be that competition. So that's how
Who would you pick?
Answer. Joanne, I'd have to see him training now to give you the honest answer.
That's a terrible
There'll be
answer.
some match next Saturday in the park.
That's it. Because like imagine the prize of it. There's a shoot. See, it's all games everywhere. It's competitions. They're all competing with each other as well. They'll die for each other. But in the next week, they'll know on that forward line, this is a chance for me to start in an All-Ireland final. And we know it's a squad game. And of course a squad game. And it's even more of a squad game now than even when we were playing. But to start, to get that number 1 to number 15 jersey, it's a badge of honour that you'll be able to carry for a very long time.
The parade. No one will score 3-3 off you on the parade. Always loved the parade.
You love the parade.
Only one day you started shouting across at me and I wasn't ready for you.
Well, Tim O'Mahony's play surely isn't in any doubt whatsoever. 2 goals in the second half.
Yeah, and could have been in the man of the match territory as well, to be honest. Yeah. And I just... yeah, here, look, there's the ball inside again, but Hargy, for 36 years of age, look, turns. I love the angle of this run. You talk about forwards knowing where to go, and just a brilliant flick, to be fair. So, again, it's the brilliance of the ball inside, but it's his angles of run. He's going. And I said, it looks like they're going to tie him down. Conor Burke obviously gets ball watching a bit, but here he goes. He cuts in behind 2 Cork players and just a flick of the wrist. But I really like the second goal, because Brendan talked about ruthless, single-minded focus. There were, I don't know, many points up at that stage, but he came out of nowhere to turn over that ball. I know it was a sloppy bit of play. This is probably summed up Dublin. Paddy Smith should have killed this ball, got in, and again a one-handed flick. But I just love the turnover, because that's what Pat Ryan wants. Because when you're going to be facing Tip and Kilkenny, it's going to be a turnover battle. You know, it's not going to be little flicks like this, to be honest. It's going to be winning those dirty balls outside. And I think he's really cemented in place out midfield, and he's a brilliant foil again for Darragh Fitzgibbon. Like, they just have so much going on, and he was immense again today.
Were there 3 players up front in particular who really carried that fight for Dublin, and Fergal Whiteley, and then Sean Curry and Cian O'Sullivan, who combined for what was a really clever goal, wasn't it?
It was, and again, it's probably better for Pat Ryan, because he'll be saying, what were you thinking and what were you watching? But in fairness to Curry and O'Sullivan, they were live wires all day. You look at, nobody takes too much out of a 20-point defeat, but those 2, Fergal Whiteley, I'm kind of delighted for him the way he played, because he has been a bit of a fall guy at times, but he tried his heart out. I think Hedjo tried very hard inside, was frustrated with some of the ball that went in over his head, and he battled. You know, they were too loose around the middle area, and if you are too loose around the middle area and Cork get that ball up to those fellas, that you can't beat them, I'd say. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, but you would imagine there will be some regrets nonetheless for the Dublin manager, Neil O'Callaghan.
Neil, commiserations. You met a very, very potent force in Cork, but what are your own thoughts on the game that just passed?
Listen, first of all, we're very disappointed, obviously, on a day like that ended up in a way that we obviously had no intention of as we woke up this morning. Listen, no excuses there. We're beaten by an absolutely better team. I thought the first half, we were actually in it in the first half. I think the shot count was maybe just 1 or 2 in it at half time, but it was obvious that the goals were, gave them a great cushion, and we had a couple of goal opportunities to crossbar and things like that. So everything had to go right for us in that sense to be still in it. Second half, to be honest, I thought we rallied at 1 or 2 stages, but then I think the 5th goal was just a killer there, knocked the wind out of our sails. So listen, no excuses. By far the better team won, and we wish them well.
Your shooting efficiency was top class actually in the first half, and around the 26th minute you looked to be getting really back into the game at that stage. Was it hard to get the balance right between protecting your own full back line and trying to keep some sort of a threat up front as well?
Yeah, listen, we made that. I mean, the way we went at it, listen, being honest with you, there's always a chance that something like that can happen. But to be honest with you, what are we here for? Do you know what I mean? Like stepping off or going zone or anything like that, or providing more cover inside. Undoubtedly we'll be criticised now that that's something that we should have done. But listen, what I'd say to that is, against a team like Cork with the abilities that they have, you might concede 7 goals, but you will lose the game. So we weren't here to take a step back, or weren't here to not go man on man. I'd probably be criticised over that round setup, and that's absolutely fair enough, but that would be my and our rationale anyway.
Just with the work you've done with the squad since you've taken over, you know, and the quality of player you have there, do you think that this experience will stand to them going forward, Neil? It's a young side, and a lot of players have come in different directions to get to this point.
Yeah, the answer is yes. Like, we need to have Dublin senior hurling actually competing at this level all the time, and that's where we want to be. So it's hard now to view it as learning as regards moving forward, but I suppose it will. Like what I would say as well is, like, this doesn't start with us this year, and there's lads in that dressing room at this 5, 6, 7, 8 years as well. So, and we never came in and said this was a 3-year or a 5-year thing. So listen, there's more in this group unquestionably, but we weren't looking ahead as regard next year or the year after. Yeah.
Neil, final question. I know you're focused completely on your own side, but just how formidable a force, potency-wise, are Cork?
They're excellent. They are as good. I don't want to hype them up now for 2 weeks' time, but it will take. I thought we could have been better, but that was a superb performance, and they'll take a lot of beating.
Thanks for your time all year, Neil.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Wow, what do you make of that, Henry?
I thought it was brilliant. I thought the honesty, because we were all remarking, would they get some cover back there? And it's easy for us to say, sit down here today and just go, oh, why didn't they do the cover? But the reason why he said it, I think, was that he said, look, if we go for this, we're going to go for it. And I spoke in a pre-match about Conor Burke, marking Cian Lynch, scoring 3 points off him, and very attack-minded. And it was very brave. And that's how they got to this stage, by being brave, because they could have easily sat back. And I suppose they had so many issues to try and solve, they said, look, let's just go for it. Right, hindsight is wonderful, you know, and all this, but and I think he's very honest. He's come out and said that, because he knows himself. But at no stage did they go with a sweeper. They went kind of man-on-man and tried to go after it. And just, as he said, Cork were just way too good.
When you were the manager on the sideline, is it going through your head, I'm going to be hammered for this now?
Oh my God, the stuff that goes through your head. We were sitting right behind him, and I felt for him, because especially with this fella playing on his team, I was that soldier on that line with a ruthless team against you, all fighting for their places. And yeah, I think he's doing a good job. I think stick by him, you know, help him as much as they can. What I like is there's a better spread of clubs. You see Fingalians, Commercials coming in, Erin's Isle. I hadn't that option, to be honest. It was 4 or 5 clubs that were supplying the players. So yeah, Dunlog has been strong about it, that hurling needs Dublin, like, you know, and I think, you know, they're on the right footing. It's a big setback today, but you're in the last 4 in Ireland. Try and build on that now for next year.
Got 2 more of the old powers tomorrow, Donalogue. Before we get Henry's view on how Kilkenny might fare against Tipperary, what are you thinking?
So I think it's a fierce game to look forward to. It's like two old royal estates going back to war with each other. I think both have been incrementally improving. Both are better than they were last year. I just feel that Tip have that slight advantage, and I do think one of the advantages is